It's game time. I hope you're ready for the show. It's time to see the best go at it, all pro. The opposition ain't ready, reaction too slow. We're already too much to handle, we have to go. It's all on me when the game on the line. It's game time. Start playing in my moment. I've been ready now, I'm in my prime. It's game time. I've been ready in the line. They don't make them like me, I'm one of a kind. It's game time. How bad do you want it? It's all on me when the game on the line. It's game time.
The Yankees offense continues to flex its muscles in the first month of the season, pouring on 15 runs in last night's victory. Jason Dominguez is back in the lineup tonight, hoping to join in on the fun. Anthony Volpe looks to replicate his performance from last night to close this three-game set with a series win. We set the stage for the rubber match between the New York Yankees and the Baltimore Orioles on a Wednesday night at Camden Yards in Baltimore. Hope you're having a great night. Welcome to the pregame show on Prime. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry with you. Final game of this three-game series. Last night, 15 runs, 19 hits, 6 home runs. Yankees punched first. How do they ride that wave into tonight?
An historic night of hitting home runs and scoring runs and a bunch of high fives in the dugout. So if you're in that dugout tonight as a Yankee, Bob, your mission statement is let the good times roll. Figure out a way to have quality at-bats tonight against Povich of the Orioles. Doesn't mean they're going to hit 6 homers again. Doesn't mean they're going to score 15 runs. But if the Yankees have the consistent and quality at-bats that they've been having this season, they should be able to figure out Povich. Conversely, Carrasco has looked good recently. 5 scoreless in his last outing. The slider was a really important pitch for him in that start, and the changeup has been important all season long. The Yankees would love to see another solid 5 from him.
We'll talk more about Carrasco coming up. Right now, let's get it out to Camden Yards. Meredith Morakovich standing by with the clubhouse report. And Meredith, I know that 15 runs, 6 homers, 4 in the first inning, probably not realistic, but I'm sure the Yankees wouldn't mind manifesting that again tonight. What have they seen from the lineup?
Hey, Bob, no doubt about it. Never say never with this team. We've seen them hit the ball out of the ballpark an awful lot so far. You look at the first inning in particular, the Yankees have scored 28 runs in the first inning so far this season. That is second best in the majors behind the Dodgers. And you look at last night in particular, you had Trent Grisham leading off with a home run, followed by Aaron Judge and Ben Rice, 3 homers on just 5 pitches. And then Cody Bellinger would go ahead and get in on the action as well. A nice performance by that Yankees offense, really allowing Carlos Rodon to go to work. Now, while Aaron Boone would like to see that again today, he would just more than anything like to see quality at-bats. I asked him earlier today how this offense goes about trying to back up a performance like they did last night.
You know, you hear the turn the page all the time, you know, if you have a tough one, but, you know, kind of got to do the same when you have a big night, obviously. We got a chance to win a series tonight, and, you know, unfortunately, you can't take some of those runs with you into the next day. So, you know, hopefully Cookie can go out there and get us off to a good start and give us a chance to win a series into an off day.
What could a night like that do for a team and for an offense's confidence?
I don't know. I feel like our confidence has been good, you know, throughout so far. Again, you got a number of guys that are off to really good starts. You get a couple guys that, you know, hopefully getting it going a little bit too. And, you know, hopefully, you know, I feel like we have the makings to still be a very good offense, and that's the hope.
And there were some questions heading into this season without Juan Soto in the lineup. What would this Yankees offense look like? It seemed like overall they got more athletic, but would they still have the power? And you see it right there, 51 home runs to start the season. That is the most in Major League Baseball right now. Also tops in average and OPS. The Yankees now just hoping that that can continue as this season continues to progress. Now, Jack, you already mentioned the fact that there is a lefty on the mound in Cade Povich for Baltimore. So the Yankees lineup does look a little bit different tonight. You're going to see Paul Goldschmidt leading off, followed by Trent Grisham, Aaron Judge, and then Ben Rice hitting cleanup. Also noteworthy, Jason Dominguez is back in the lineup. That leaves Cody Bellinger, the odd man out when it comes to that Yankees outfield. And I asked Aaron Boone what went into that decision to leave Bellinger out of the lineup tonight.
just kind of into the off day, left on left, kind of want him. I feel like he's kind of built some momentum here these last couple of days. And again, you know, I mean, we have a lot of deserving people to play too. So like, you know, I have a guy that usually every day that I'd rather have in the lineup. But it also, again, gives us a chance to keep guys fresh, keep guys playing a lot. And I just felt like, even the day before with Cody, felt like good at bats going into yesterday, where obviously he got some big results, and just feel like, you know, the lefty today into the off day and just some of the early season stuff he's dealt with the back, just feel like want to be smart with the big picture in mind too.
I know there are different philosophies, but is it easier to sit a guy when he's had a little bit of success here recently, or is it more difficult because they want to remain in the lineup and keep it going essentially?
Yeah, always both. You know, sometimes if it's a great matchup, I'd stay away from it, or just roll through with it. But again, it's one of those good problems we have right now of a lot of deserving people being in the lineup. Like, for example, I didn't want Dominguez out of the lineup yesterday, but somebody's got to sit, unfortunately, and just feel like this will hopefully be a good thing for the long haul for all of us.
And Cody Bellinger really has been fantastic defensively for the Yankees, wherever they have put him in the outfield so far this season. And there is reason to be encouraged, as you heard Aaron Boone speak about what he's been doing lately offensively. Last night, a home run, an RBI double. He also walked twice in that one. As far as the rest of the Yankees lineup is concerned, you're not going to see Jazz Chisholm Jr. in there. Instead, it's going to be Pablo Reyes at second base. Also noteworthy, Oswaldo Cabrera is not in the lineup. It's going to be Oswald Peraza at third base. When it comes to Jazz Chisholm Jr., he hurt his flank, as he called it yesterday, really an oblique injury. I does not believe it's major. He is still going to go for a precautionary MRI in New York tomorrow. But in speaking with Chisholm Jr. in the clubhouse today, he did not seem concerned in the slightest that this was going to keep him out any real length of time. The Yankees will try to stay away from him tonight. They do not want to chance it until they have that imaging. But overall, it seemed like Jazz was pretty optimistic that he could be back in there as early as Friday. We'll keep it with injuries. DJ LeMahieu had a cortisone shot in his hip yesterday. Aaron Boone calling it more of a precautionary measure. He's expected to resume his rehab assignment on Friday, and Jonathan Loaizaga is throwing in the minors today. At single A, he's expected to move to either double A or triple A thereafter. He still needs to make several more appearances, including a back-to-back, before the Yankees consider bringing him back. But guys, as we know, when Jonathan Loaizaga gets back and is a member of that bullpen, certainly he will be a strength. He will be an asset to a very good bullpen to start the season.
No doubt about that. Meredith, thank you so much. We'll see you in just a little bit with Michael, David, and Joe. Time for our first break on the Yankees pregame. The Bronx Bombers made a statement in last night's victory, bashing 6 home runs. And when we come back, Jack and I will talk about the high-powered Yankees offense. That's all here on Prime.
Aaron Judge is the best player that has stepped onto this field in a long time.
So he's doing stuff that's never been done.
You're seeing one of the better players to ever play the game.
He's getting better.
It's absolutely amazing. A 400 man stays above that magic mark.
That's Aaron Judge doing his thing.
Aaron Judge is doing it all. And how about this stat of the night? A WAR comparison this season. He is at 2.7. That leads Major League Baseball. That's more than 12 teams' position players and 6 entire teams. And Jack, it bears repeating for all the folks that never said I never got to see Babe Ruth or Lou Gehrig play. We're seeing it right now. We're watching it in real time.
We are watching a modern-day Babe Ruth. Every time we watch Judge step onto the field, it's a future Hall of Famer doing things that the greatest in the sport had done before him. This is what he did last night in taking a ball out in the first inning, part of that 3 in a row that the Yankees hit. And Bob, there's so many different numbers that we could talk about with Judge, but how about this across his last 154 games? 61 homers, 155 runs batted in, and a slugging percentage of almost 800. If you are able to have an OPS of 800, you're a really good major league player. His slugging percentage on its own is close to 800 in the equivalent of a season.
We're wrapping up the month of April. April last year was not good for him. This year it's been tremendous. What's been the biggest difference?
I remember last year when Aaron Judge got off to a sluggish start, Bob, he kept saying, I'm missing the baseballs that I should hit. My timing isn't there. How many times have you and I watched a game and we've said, wow, Judge missed that one? I think maybe it's 3 or 4 times this year, and we'd have to search really hard for it. He also is putting the ball in play more. His strikeout rate is about 20%. That would be a career low for him. With his size and his massiveness and the swing that he has, he's always going to strike out a certain amount. But, Bob, he's putting the ball in play more, and I think his selectivity is something that has stood out as well. He's just not chasing.
He has an on-base streak of 26 straight games. Let's check out the Yankees starting lineup, where we find Aaron Judge penciled in third. Paul Goldschmidt leading off, 11th start in the leadoff spot for a team that last night went 8 for 20 with runners in scoring position. 7 players with multi-hit games, and the Yankees scored in 7 of the 9 innings. And as you look at tonight's lineup, where are your eyes drawn?
My eyes are going to the Volpe-Wells combo there, because across the last 5 games, Bob, I think they've both found something. 2 young hitters who need to be instrumental to that Yankee offense. Volpe 8 for his last 20, Wells 7 for his last 23. And I recall we had Tim Naring on one of our hot stove shows in the offseason. He's one of Brian Cashman's top lieutenants. And when he was talking about the Yankee offense in 2025, he said they're expecting improvements from the likes of Volpe, from the likes of Wells. And across these last 5 games, we're seeing the type of thing that Naring was talking about.
Let's take a look at the other side, the starting lineup for the Baltimore Orioles tonight, who had just 3 hits in last night's ball game. No one has more than 8 at-bats against tonight's Yankee starter, Carlos Carrasco. DH Ryan O'Hearn is in the cleanup spot. He has 20 runs batted in against the Yankees since 2023. That's second in the majors only to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Well, time to step aside on the Yankees pregame. Carlos Carrasco has been one tough cookie on the mound lately. Carrasco getting the ball in hopes to crumble the Orioles batters and give the Yankees a sweet treat. We talk cookie next on Prime.
You know I'll bring the flavor. I won't get back in line. Oh, yeah.
Now, Carrasco's nickname is Cookie. The man they call Cookie Carrasco. Strike 3. Strong inning for Carlos Carrasco.
I'll bring the flavor.
Carrasco has been delicious at times. Yeah, Cookie getting it done. But here's the deal. Hidden in these numbers, Jack, his last 3 starts. 3 starts ago, 1 earned run against Kansas City. 2 ago, 4 against Tampa Bay, and then 0 against Toronto his last time. That's a roller coaster. He's trying to keep that number down again tonight.
Yeah, you look at Carrasco, and we've talked about this, Bob, the arsenal that he brings to the mound. He's not going to overwhelm anyone with his velocity, but what he needs to do is use those secondary pitches like that changeup, which has been terrific for him this year, like the slider, which was great in his last start against the Blue Jays. They went 0 for 7, and just pitch precisely. If Carrasco makes a mistake in the zone, we saw the start against Detroit. Teams are going to do damage, and they're going to hit the baseball out of the park. But if he can be precise and pitch to his location and mix his pitches, he has shown he can be a solid 5-inning pitcher.
Now, having said that, you always tell us, look for 5 and then go to the bullpen. So let's take a look at the bullpen budget because of some heavy lifting by some of the other relievers lower on that list. Jack, look at the top 4, Weaver, Leiter Jr., Cruz, and Williams, and then down to Tim Hill. All look like they're locked and loaded.
Right. This is the kind of night with Carrasco, someone who doesn't typically go deep in the game, with an off day tomorrow, where I anticipate that manager Aaron Boone is going to be very quick to try and go to his bullpen. Listen, if Carrasco is pitching great, he's not going to pull him out just for the sake of pulling him out, but they're going to look at specific matches and matchups, and they're going to point to what you talked about, Bob. A guy like Luke Weaver has only pitched once in his last 6 days. You want to keep your relievers sharp. I anticipate that Boone will be aggressive with the pen.
All right, lefty Cade Povich getting the ball for the O's tonight. Let's take a look at his pitch usage this season. The left-hander throws his four-seam fastball the most, and batters are hitting over 360 against that heater. The sweeper is thrown 20.5% of the time. Povich also has a curveball, a changeup, and a sinker in his arsenal. Last year, he faced the Yankees a couple times, but the numbers this year are a little concerning, especially with that four-seam fastball.
Yeah, the ERA being over 5, the numbers you mentioned against the four-seamer. If you dig a little deeper into his starts, he did have one awful start against Cincinnati that pushed those numbers up. You see what he did against the Yankees last year. He's not someone who is going to overwhelm you. They're going to see sweepers and curves and changeups. And when you talk about facing a left-handed pitcher, the Yankees are actually second in the American League in on-base percentage, slugging, and home runs against lefties. So trying to do some damage against Povich tonight.
And that breaking ball, kind of, how does that play against the righties? Because Boone has 6 of them in there.
Yeah, you look at that pitch, and if you're a right-handed batter, you're going to see that out of his hand. You're going to be able to see the spin. So Povich needs to be really sneaky when he decides to go to that pitch.
All right, one final break on the Yankees pregame. We're going to share our final thoughts as we approach first pitch between the Yankees and the Orioles, so keep it right here on Prime. Let's go back to last night's game. Trent Grisham leading off and buys a little piece of real estate out on Utah Street.
Yeah, second pitch from Gibson. It was a cutter. It was bending inside. It was in a place where Grisham could do some damage. He's been doing a lot of damage, Bob, whether it's Utah Street or elsewhere. 8 homers in 24 games.
Anniversary alert, April 30th, 1996, and that is Paul O'Neill launching one out onto Utah.
I covered that game, Bob. The Yankees won that game 13-10. It was a 4-hour and 21-minute game. There's Paul O'Neill's emblem or plaque on the sidewalk for taking Rhodes deep. 8 for 24 off Rhodes in his career. Pretty good numbers for Paul against a tough lefty.
And these were some big numbers put up by 12 different Yankees since the opening of Camden Yards. 12 Yankees, 9 of them different. Giambi went deep and hit Utah 3 times, but he got the job done, as did 4 Yankees hitting home runs in the first inning last night. Grisham's resonated right off the bat on the second pitch of the game. And you had an interesting stat about his pull rate. What was the inside story on that?
You look for reasons why a hitter is better one year to the next, and I think one of the numbers that we can hone in on with Grisham is the fact that he's pulling the ball in the air more, Bob. It's 26% of the time this season. Last year it was 20%. Why do you want to pull the ball in the air? Because when you do, your batting average is over 500. Your slugging percentage is over 1,100. I think Grisham has been more aggressive. He's swinging earlier in the count. He's been terrific against fastballs, and he is clearly trying to jump on pitches, Bob, and get that bat head out earlier to be able to pull the baseball.
You know, last night you always talk about this punch first, and they were able to do that. And it almost felt with like how much and how hard they hit the ball that game was over really early.
The Orioles' starting pitching is abysmal. They come into tonight with an ERA of over 6. They probably force-fed Gibson back into the rotation last night a little early, and then the Yankees destroyed him. 4 home runs in the first 5 batters. I think you're right, Bob. When you have a slumping team, especially, if you do punch first, as the Yankees did last night, and then Rodon goes out there and throws up a couple of zeros, it's almost as if the game is over early.
Mentioned a lot of righties against lefty Povich, so that moves Paul Goldschmidt back into the leadoff spot yet again.
He has slow-pitch softball numbers against lefty pitchers this year. He's 16 for 26 against lefties. The on-base percentage and the slugging percentage against lefties are ridiculous. How's this slash line, Bob? 615, 677, 923. Goldschmidt loves lefties.
Did you see him? He got to hold him back. He's ready to get in the batter's box. That's it for us. After a break, it's Michael Kay, David Cohn, Joe Girardi with a call on Prime. Meredith Marakovitz reporting. And then Jack and I, along with Meredith, will see you on the postgame on Yes immediately after. Enjoy the ball game. Final game from Baltimore. Coming up next on Prime.
They say good things come in 3s. Well, how about 4s? 4 bombs by the Yankees. For the first time in baseball history, a team led up a game with 3 straight home runs twice in one season. And both times, the Yankees added a 4th home run in the same inning.
Yankees are just mashing.
While the bats were red hot, so was Carlos Rodon. He was perfect through 5 and dominant for 6.
Rodon, fantastic.
It was a complete team win and a great setup for tonight's matchup. The series is up for grabs as the Yankees and the Orioles battle it out in Baltimore. And it's all coming up next on Prime.
Another beautiful day here in Baltimore. A lot of Yankee fans make their way south to see the Yankees at Camden Yards, and it is time for baseball as Prime presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Baltimore Orioles in the rubber game of a 3-game set from Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with David Cohn and Joe Girardi. I'm Michael Kay. These two teams have split the first 2 games, but we're in Camden Yards, and that means Aaron Judge is happy. Aaron Judge on April 30th, the final day of this month, is still hitting over 400, so you know he loves hitting here, and he likes hitting everywhere.
Well, Michael, you referred in the pregame on Monday, this was Aaron Judge's personal playground, and that's exactly what it's been these first 2 games. And off of Sugano in the first inning, he lines a single to left field. Sugano gave up 5 hits. Aaron Judge had 2 of them through the first 5 innings. And then last night, he hits his 25th homer in 57 games at this ballpark. And if you do the math, and you know I like math, that is 71 home runs in 162 games.
Well, here's some math for you. So, Major League rankings, he's first in average, on base percentage, slugging, OPS, and WAR. Yeah, he's having another good year. So the Yankees would like to win this series, and they'll turn to the veteran Carlos Carrasco. First 3 starts, not too good. Last 3 starts, pretty good.
Yeah, he's starting to round into form, and for a 38-year-old veteran pitcher, rounding into form means mixing it up, retaining the mystery, pitching backwards, using all of his pitches. A really good changeup has been very effective for him, and different types of breaking balls as well.
Well, take a look at the last 3 starts. So 3.21 ERA, 196 opponents average against. The slugging is low, just 1 home run. Now compare that to the first 3 starts, a 7.71 ERA in those. Well, the home run barrage right in the middle of it yesterday was Ben Rice. 2 home runs. Rice, baby. Yeah, we're going to call him Vanilla Rice. He's been great. When we come back, lineups, first pitch, baseball, Yankees O's, next on Prime. All right, back here at Camden Yards, Kate Povich is choosing his song to warm up to, Piano Man. Let's see if he writes a nice song against his Yankee lineup. Paul Goldschmidt at first, Trent Grisham in center, Aaron Judge in right. Middle third, it's Rice, Volpe, and Wells. Bottom third, filling in for the injured Jazz Chisholm Jr. is Pablo Reyes at second, Jason Dominguez in left, Oswald Peraza at third base. Carlos Carrasco gets a start against the Orioles.
And the lefty on the year, you could see the high ERA, but that's a little bit skewed from one bad start he had against the Reds earlier this year. He's been pretty good otherwise. Our pitcher scouting report, a diverse pitch arsenal, about 5 different pitches, 4-seamer, sweeper, good curveball to go with it. He's got strikeout capability in the minor leagues. He had really good strikeout numbers, and areas for improvement, it's always command and control.
Goldschmidt's ready. Povich is ready. Let's do it in Baltimore. First pitch swung on and foul back and out of play. We are underway. The crew chief, Lance Barksdale, behind the plate. Will Little at first. Ryan Wills at second. Ryan Adderton is over third. Goldschmidt 3 for 9 in the first 2 games of the series, hitting .363. Also a .615 hitter against lefties this year. That's 16 for 26. That's good, right, Joe?
Oh, that's really good, and that's part of the reason he's leading off. And I love that he swung at the first pitch because he got a good fastball to hit. When you lead off all the time, you know, the first inning, a lot of times it's a first pitch fastball. There's that good breaking ball you're talking about, Tony.
I agree with you. Whenever I started a game and I gave up a line drive or a hit on the first pitch of the game, it messed me up a little bit.
Do you remember Doug Drabeck with the Pirates? He started every game with a curveball. Every game. Because he knew hitters probably wouldn't swing at it.
Yeah. Bob Welsh, same way.
Coney, maybe we'll get into it a little bit later, but Kate Povich has got that new kick changeup. And they throw it different, and it kills the spin on it.
Drilled to left field and foul. Let me give you a look at the Orioles defense. Laureano, Mullins, and Kerstad left to right. Infield third to first, Urias, Henderson, Holiday, and Mountcastle. Rushman behind the plate. O'Hearn, the DH. Povich on the mound. Fly ball, shallow center field. Who's going to get it? Henderson makes the call and the catch, one down. What are the keys to this game, Joe?
Well, the keys are the Joe Girardi binder keys, as Coney called them.
Score early, because it seemed like last night they took the wind right out of their sails when they dropped that 5 spot in the first inning. And if you score early, they're a team that's struggling, you can keep them down. And I think the way you do that is you have to push Cade Povich out over the plate, because he wants to throw his four-seamer in on you if you're a right-hander, and he wants to throw that sweeper at your back foot. So push the ball out.
Grisham takes inside. It's the first left-handed starter the Yankees have faced since April 16th, when they faced Chris Bubich of the Royals. And when you look at this lineup, you would think the Yankees are somewhat susceptible to left-handers. They are out of the bullpen. Now, you've got Judge to neutralize, but that's 1 out of 9. Goldschmidt, 2 out of 9. There's a lot of guys that can be neutralized by a lefty, but not Grisham. Lines a single to left field.
Two completely different swings, right? He had an underwater swing before, and then he drills it to left.
Well, you know, the other night, before the game, he was out early hitting off the machine, doing exactly that, knowing that he was probably going to face a left-hander sometime in this series, just because they have 3 lefties in their bullpen, and he was just shooting line drives to left field the whole time, and that's exactly what he did.
Here's Aaron Judge hitting .412.
That just sounds like it's high school numbers, doesn't it?
Or maybe the third game of the year.
Yeah, .412 he's hitting. What?
High drive, center field. Mullins back, track, wall, see ya. Oh, what a shot. A 2-run home run for Judge in his personal playpen. 2-0 Yanks.
Wow, was that a loud sound? I mean, that's 26 homers now and 58. I can't compute that, but I mean, on pace to hit 72 home runs in 162 games here. I mean, it's absolutely incredible what he's doing. And what I liked is I heard the ball hit, and I looked at Laureano in left field, and he just dropped his head. He didn't move. Now, it was to center field, but still, I mean, you take a step. No, he did just dropped his head.
Never a doubt that was going out.
Rice takes high, so 10th home run for Judge, now has 31 ribbies. Extends his on-base streak to 27 straight, and now has an 11-game hitting streak. That one traveled 426 feet to center.
I tell you what, if I'm in the dugout with him, I'm rubbing his arm, I'm touching his bat, I'm doing everything just to get a little bit of this unbelievable streak that he's been on. And it's really been since last May. I mean, it's not just been April this year.
In his career, both at Yankee Stadium here in Baltimore, Judge now has 47 home runs and 100 ribbies in 104 games against Baltimore.
Cedric Mullins gave it the courtesy run. He probably could have just dropped his head too. It's a different sound when it comes off his bat. I mean, those are really good takes. I mean, and I know he's kind of checking his swing, but you know, as a hitter, you're taught to swing, 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 stop, right? Instead of going the other way. Ben Rice just puts up good at bat after good at bat.
Swing and a miss. Rice down on strikes, 2 away.
Plenty of time for Michael to load up a C at 5.8 seconds hang time. That's Ray Guy territory. And 112 miles an hour, scorching off the barrel of his bat. And yeah, that's exactly right.
We are not worthy.
Yeah, the kids love him. They love him.
Volpe takes inside.
This is a sweeper that got a little bit too much to the plate. He was probably trying to back foot it on him, and he left it up. And again, we saw all the home runs yesterday, and they were pitches that were up in the zone, and that's exactly what that was.
Look at the look on Belly's face.
Yeah.
Just,
how'd you do that?
Just disbelief.
3-0 on Volpe. And a strike.
Took him a while to get that signal down. You think there's two pitches. You're either throwing your four-seamer or your sinker. Can't imagine you would want to go through more than that.
Three and two.
I would want the pitch comm device on me, somewhere in my glove. I would want to be able to.
I wouldn't have given it to you.
I'd want to be able to have the veto power. I would let
well, you have the veto power. You can shake.
Sometimes it takes too long, though. Just like that.
Line drive caught by Henderson. First inning, the Yankees dominate in the first inning. Their 15th first inning home run might be the longest one. Deep into the Baltimore night. When it lands, Yankees have two. The Orioles coming to bat. Well, the Yankees had 4 home runs in the first inning last night, but they had one really long one here in the first inning tonight. So they have 2 runs as the Orioles come to bat in this order. Cedric Mullins in center, shortstop Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman will catch. Middle third, it's O'Hearn, Laureano, and Holiday. And the bottom third, Ryan Mountcastle at first, Heston Kjerstad, the right fielder, Ramon Urias at third base. Cade Povich, you saw, is the starter for the O's.
And indeed, Carlos Carrasco towing the slab here at Camden Yards tonight. And as Michael said in the pregame, and Meredith as well, he's really been much better as of late. And our pitcher scouting report, the veteran craftsmanship speaks for itself. The resilient competitor, he's so highly respected, everything he's been through, and the back-end rotation value he provides.
Mullins takes a strike. Two for 6 in the first 2 games. Orioles come in at 11 and 18. The Yankees come into the game 18 and 12, which means they are on a 97 win pace. We don't even want to tell you the pace of Aaron Judge.
And that's what Carrasco, to me, has to do. He has to live at the bottom of the zone, right around that bottom line where it's on the line or just below the line, so he gets the chases. Every once in a while, shoot a ball up in the zone to keep him honest, probably above the zone with your four-seamer. But you talked about it. He lives on the edges, and he lives down. He lives down with the sweeper, the curveball, the change split. And there's the courtesy one, I think.
Yes, his changeup's been his best pitch, and that's the one that's easier to get down, generally speaking.
For years, we couldn't figure out what it was. Was it a changeup? Was it a split? Was it a slider? I remember trying to figure it out when we would scout him.
Now, the umpire behind the plate's important for Carrasco, how much of the plays you're going to give him, but he's considered all pinned to the end, hitter friendly. He gives you fewer strikes up and down, fewer outside strikes, and Barksdale's been around 26 big league season.
Come on, man.
Where are you going with that? I mean, you got to have some place to go as a pitcher.
O'Neill's laughing somewhere. He's watching this game.
He's saying, this is my kind of guy right here.
That one's drilled to right field. Judge, it's going to be over his head. He'll play it up against the wall, plays it quickly, and he holds Mullins to a single. Beautiful throw into Volpe. Take out the Yankee defense. You saw Judge in right, Grisham's in center, Dominguez over in left. Go the other way in the infield, Peraza, Volpe, Reyes, and Goldschmidt. Wells behind the plate, Ben Rice to DH, the veteran Carrasco on the mound.
You know, we talk so much about Aaron Judge's offense that you don't talk about his defense. He's always been an extremely accurate thrower that has worked really hard at it. Would always come out early and throw to the bases. Got to that ball quickly, knew exactly how to play it.
Chop to second. There's one. Henderson's too fast. Fielder's choice. A little more information on Barksdale. He's 89th out of 90 umps in extra strikes called. So he's not giving you much. The only umpire that gives you fewer such pitches, Carlos Torres.
How much did you know which umpires gave you and which umpires didn't?
You knew which ones liked to follow. In other words, you know, it was more of an east and west strike zone for us in the 90s. So if you'd move in and out, you knew that if the more consistent you were, that which umpires liked that, who would reward you if you were really a good marksman, if you hit your spots.
Did you ever look when, like, the umpires went up and you were pitching in that series, which umpire you were getting?
Oh, yes. John Shulock was one of those guys that would reward you if you hit your target. That was the theory back then. It's completely different now because the umpires are obviously graded on the radar system. Back then, there was more margin for error, more margin to reward pitchers with good control.
And a strike to Rushman.
Eddie Montague, Dutch Renner, don't get me going.
Grounded and knocked down by Goldschmidt. He does not have a play at first as Rushman beats it out. Nice attempt by Carrasco to slide to the bag, but once Goldschmidt bobbled, Rushman beat it out.
Yeah, that ball was hit really hard, and he had to dive for this ball, and you can see it just bounces off his glove. Carrasco seemed a little late getting over, maybe thinking that he was going to catch it and then throw it to second base, but he's a little late getting over it, and it probably cost them the out.
Yeah, he froze, and then at that point, it's just one step too late.
Yeah, just beat him by a step.
That's a good call by Will Little at first base.
Ryan O'Hearn is probably the last guy you want to see come up in this situation with the way he's been swinging the bat. His 20 RBIs against the Yankees since 2023 is only second to Vlad Guerrero, and he had the big 3-run homer Monday night off of Will Warren on a breaking ball.
And that's 20 ribbies in 19 games. And a strike to O'Hearn. Yeah, he was 1 for 4 in that game, but the one was a big one. That was the difference in the game. The 3-run home run off Warren. Oh, 0-2.
We go back to Monday, you see this is going to be a hanging breaking ball that's middle in, and he crushed it. And that basically was the difference in the game. They ended up winning that game 4-3. Nice catch by a Yankee fan. I think if you catch it, you should be out, but it's not the situation.
Not yet.
1-2. Henderson's at second, Rushman's at first. Bottom of the first, 2-0 Yankees on the Judge home run. Did he go? No, said Ryan Addison.
Coney, when you're a pitcher that wants to get people out down in the zone, the importance of changing eye level.
Sequencing, yes, very important. You know you want to get them out with your changeup.
Swing and a miss, big strikeout on the slider.
But you just missed with your changeup on the previous pitch, so you go back to this one and you execute it down and in. There's no margin for error there, because if you leave it on the plate, it's another 3-run home run.
Yeah, we saw what happened the last time they left it up and on the plate. He got it below his knees, and he got it inside a little bit, and he got a big out.
So here's Laureano. One and 0.
A lot of people thought that Laureano's career was over when he was in Cleveland last year and they released him, and he went to Atlanta and played extremely well. He's great against left-handers. Has not been the case this year. His damage has been against right-handers. Throw a couple more of those and we might get him out.
Yeah. Signed a 1-year, $4 million deal with the Orioles in February. They have a team option for next year. One and 2.
And the bottom just fell out of that sinker.
It really did. Almost had a
Like a split.
looked like his changeup or split, but it was 90 miles an hour. So good release point, good seams to get that ball to sink.
Two and 2.
He almost got the front door breaking ball for strike 3.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Yankees lead 2-0. Now it's full, so the runners will go.
You know, the interesting thing is I think he's trying to throw that sinker down and in, and he's pulling it.
Yes.
But he's getting great movement on it.
Swing and a miss. So some traffic on the bases, but Carrasco works out of it. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left on base. We'll go to the second, 2-0 Yanks. Suit up this season at MLBshop.com. Check out the largest selection of authentic jerseys, caps, hoodies, t-shirts, and more. Visit MLBshop.com, the official source for your Yankees gear. There's a strike to Austin Wells. He joined the party late last night. The 6th home run hit by the Yankees went the other way. 5th home run of the year. He's had an RBI in 5 straight games. One and 1.
Here's that pitch. If you're a pitcher, you want it.
You have to know that if you're a hitter, right?
Right. He's not giving it. Oh, the hitters know too. They know the strike zone, what umpires give and what they don't give. But in fairness to Lance Sparks, it was not in the box and didn't touch the lines. Nope. Looks good though. That's what gets you yelling as a manager.
He's a rarity. Generally speaking, umpires who miss calls mostly call balls outside of that box a strike. That happens much more often than missing strikes inside the box. That's why robo-umps, a full automated strike zone, would be benefit hitters.
Ground ball. Beautiful play by Henderson. The throw to first got him. He is a slick fielding shortstop.
Yeah, and he's got such great arm strength, and you can see, you know, when he's on the run, it doesn't bother him. He's still extremely accurate, and he knows how fast Wells is, and he has time, and he gets rid of it, and it is right on target. And a lot of times when you're running one way, you'll actually say, throw it to the back end of the base because it's going to turn as you're throwing it. So, I mean, extremely accurate and a strong arm.
Reyes swings and misses.
He had some evil intentions. He wanted to jump into that home run party.
Fly ball down the left field line. Good foul. Now he's playing first base because Jazz Chisholm hurt his flank.
And Michael, I spoke to Jazz Chisholm Jr. in the clubhouse, and he said he was feeling better today. He's still going to have a precautionary MRI, but seemed to think that he didn't necessarily even need it. He doesn't think this is something that's going to keep him out a long period of time. He was going to do some work in the training room, do some pregame stuff, but the Yankees will stay away from him today, have him get that precautionary MRI, and then see where they go from there.
Yeah, he seemed like he hurt himself at the plate and then re-aggravated when he slid into third. But he doesn't seem that stressed out about it. High fly ball left center. Laureano is there.
And Michael in incredibly good spirits last night, as you see him right here kind of rotating back and forth when the trainers come out. When he was asked about his flank, he said, I like that word. I thought of that. Or oblique, whichever you like, Joe.
Yeah, that was a new term for me. Got Coney thinking about having a steak dinner is what it got him doing.
He was laughing as he was going through it, Joe.
Well, we haven't heard that much, so that means we're going to start hearing it a lot. I don't think it's an isolated injury just for Jazz. Dominguez has really struggled from the right side. 3 hits and 32 at-bats.
I thought Booney made a great point, though, that he hasn't had a ton of at-bats, and he gets obviously a lot more left-handed because he was hurt in the minor leagues. He only had about 1,300 ABs in the 4 or 5 years in the minor leagues. So, and at that point, you should be close to about 2,000. So he's missed a lot of at-bats.
Line drive, left field, and the catch is made by Laureano to take a hit away from Dominguez. Sinking line drive, Laureano slick with the glove, comes in, backhand, and holds on. Well, the NBA is coming to Prime with exclusive coverage of more than 60 regular season games, the Cup, play-in, playoff coverage, league pass, and more. The NBA on Prime all starts this October. Jackson Holliday will lead off against Carlos Carrasco.
He's been actually pretty good since he went through an 0 for 18 in the middle of the season. His last 12 games, hitting 300 with a 447 on base. He's got the ability to steal bases, so that's what they're looking from him to do.
That one is looped into center field. It's a base hit. Leadoff single for Holliday.
Well, he's been using the middle and the opposite field extremely well, and he's a little bit out in front of this. That's probably why he doesn't drive it more. He gets fooled a little bit, but he's got such a flat swing through the zone. He's able to hit a line drive in front of Grisham. You're going to see this ball's middle away and kind of up, and it allows him to hit that line drive.
What's up? Good play coverage.
With Mountcastle. Six for his last 52 in 17 games, has 115. High fly ball, deep left. Dominguez back on the track at the wall. Tie game. A 2-run home run from Mountcastle.
Coney, I like the pitch selection. I just don't like the execution. He has shown that he will chase the breaking ball just off the plate, and he threw him a breaking ball, and instead of being just off the plate, it hung middle in, and that's why he was able to hit a home run.
Well, Mountcastle's got that kind of power. The Orioles would like a little more of that.
Well, Michael, you gave us the stat the other day. He's lost more home runs because of the left field wall that was further back the last few years, and that one I don't think would have mattered, but They brought it in, and all of a sudden he's starting to try to pull the ball more to maybe hit 33 homers.
Well, in the 3 seasons with the extra deep left field fence, he had 11 balls that would have been homers with the original fences. No other player had more than 8.
Oh, it may not have been a home run. Close.
And down goes Kerstead.
Yeah, we see this swing, and this ball ends up middle in. It's a ball that stays inside that you're trying to get away from him. He's big, he's strong, and it was a ball that he could really elevate because it was elevated without a lot of velocity.
We were asking about backup sliders last night. In last night's broadcast, that was a prime example of a backup slider.
How far was it out of your hand before you realized it was like, uh-oh?
Almost feel it right out of your hand.
Out of your hand.
Yeah, it's like hitting a golf ball fat. You know, you almost feel it right away.
That was the breaking ball he was trying to throw him, that one that's just off the plate.
Sliders are supposed to break right to left in your screen looking at home plate right here. And when they take a seat or almost back up and go, you know, left to right, that's a backup slider.
High fly ball, deep left, going back. Dominguez, track, wall, see ya. A home run for Oriole, and the Orioles take a 3-2 lead.
Well, you brought up before the game, Coney, that the wind was blowing out. There's a flag that's way out there that we can see, and it was warm, and a lot of times when you have that combination, the ball carries, and Arias hit this in the right spot, the short part of left field for his second homer of the year.
Here's Mullins. Fly ball right field. Judge for round number 2.
See this ball? This is
Four-seamer, yeah, right there. Or maybe two-seamer.
Yeah, but it was flat. It didn't have that bite that we've seen some of them have that go down in the zone. Pull his hands in, gets extended. Great balance at the end. Home run.
Speaking from experience as a veteran pitcher, when I was in Carlos Carrasco's shoes, that's going to make or break you, keeping the ball in the ballpark. Limiting the long fly balls, the pulled fly balls. You can give up a few singles, you can give up a few doubles, a few hits here and there, but you got to stay away from the pulled fly balls as much as you can.
And this is a team that has not been good against off speed for the whole year, and really poor against left-handers off speed. But hitting under 200 on breaking balls collectively.
One and two on Gunnar Henderson.
This is the guy they want to start getting the ball in the air. He's been hitting it on the ground. He did his first AB, and that's exactly where you want to keep him.
Past a diving Volpe, a base hit.
Well, there's been some hard balls hit this inning, and you look, this ball smoked past Volpe. He almost gets to it, and if he gets to it, he might have a chance to throw him out because it was hit so hard. It was just beyond his reach. Now Adley, who hit a ball hard in the first inning to Goldschmidt, is up, and he has been struggling as well. You can go back the last 100 games. I mean, his batting average the last 100 games is 196 coming into tonight. It's been a real struggle for him.
Little conference on the mound. Matt Blake not involved. This is initiated by Austin Wells. What words of wisdom can a catcher give?
Now you can just try to break the rhythm and try to get him back on track. You know, I don't know if he was stalling to get somebody up. I mean, the Yankees have an off day tomorrow. I mean, they don't have Ryan Yarbrough, but they have everyone else that's in that bullpen. Probably not Ian Hamilton as well. But to me, it'd be too early probably to go to the bullpen just to give him a little break. I used to say I'd go out there to change his rhythm because his rhythm wasn't too good.
Runner goes. No throw, a stolen base for Henderson.
So many players love action upon action. The first part was a hit. And then you're going to take off first pitch because you're not going to wait around because you want to get into scoring position. However, the one thing it does is it gets Goldschmidt back. And you know, you can think you're going to pull Carlos Carrasco a lot on the ground. It gives him more range. I mean, you look at first and second, Pablo and Goldie, they can almost touch each other.
Base hit. Judge fields. Henderson will score easily. Throw comes into second. RBI single for Rushman. And the Orioles lead 4-2.
Everything's up, you know, this inning.
There it is.
Middle, and hammered.
And it's what big league hitters are supposed to do. The balls are there, and this pitcher, you're not trying to throw it there. And once that Jason Beret once told me I don't have a Nintendo controller in my pocket where I can put it exactly where I want. There are those days you're just off a little bit, and you got to find it as quick as you can to try to give your team 4 or 5 innings.
When a sinker doesn't sink, that's what happens. Especially from a right-handed pitcher to a left-handed batter.
Strike 1-1 on O'Hearn, who struck out in the first inning. One and two. One, two. 2-2 on O'Hearn. Lined right to Reyes, and that'll do it, but the damage has been done. Orioles plate 4 with 2 home runs, 4-2. Well, they've changed the wall and the left field dimensions here at Camden Yards pre-2022. That's the deal. And it was a good home run hitting ballpark. Then they really overcorrected, raised the height of the wall to 13 feet, really pushed it back, made it impossible. They called it the Great Wall of Camden. And this year, well, they brought it in, made it a little bit more fair, lowered the height of the wall. And the 2 home runs in the second inning would not have gone out last year. So it benefits the Orioles this time. Peraza leads off against Povich. Orioles lead by 2, 4-2.
Yeah, you see the first one by Mountcastle. It's in the stairs, right at the beginning of the stairs, so that would not have been a home run. And then the second one wouldn't even been close.
You know, there was a lot of discussion why they pushed it back as much as they did. And the general answer was always, well, we want to attract free agent pitchers. That hasn't really been that successful. That's a hot shot to third. Arias just gets the hustling Peraza. One away.
Well, Arias has one Gold Glove to his name. He got a couple of years ago, and he's an outstanding defensive player, and he's hit really well this year, getting a chance to play every day. And I just love, there was no panic there, right? He just kind of took one little drop step, let go in that nice purple glove.
Yep, trusted his arm.
Trusted his hands as well.
Here's Goldschmidt. He popped a short in the first inning. Leading off today for the Yanks. Swings through a changeup.
So, Coney, Cade Povich has increased the usage of his changeup this year, and he went to the kick change. Can you explain to me what that is?
Well, it's sort of like a spiked curveball. You're trying to get down to using the seams with just your one finger, your ring finger. So you can kick change. With a curveball, you kick your index finger up off it. It's sort of a spiked curveball. The kick change is your middle finger. You kind of kick it up off the ball.
Fly ball right field. Kjerstad on the track in front of the big wall, puts it away.
It's about isolating your ring finger, trying to get your ring finger to take over.
And does it kill the spin? The Arsenal, he's throwing it about 15% of the time, which is up from last year. Does it kill the spin on the ball and give it more of like a split or a knuckleball?
Yes. Tom Glavine explained it to me when his changeup is that your fingers progressively get weaker. Your index finger, your middle finger are stronger than your ring finger and your pinky. So you're trying to isolate your ring finger because it's weaker, and therefore it will take some spin off of it and some velocity off of it. So you're trying to isolate your ring finger by kicking your middle finger up off the ball a little bit, spike it a little bit.
We have so many different pitches now. We have 9 or 10 different names for them.
It's obviously different variations of that grip, but it's the hot new thing going around. Pitchers trying to learn a new grip, and pitchers are way ahead of the curve in terms of using technology. Pitch design, instant feedback from the high-speed cameras. All these pitchers are bought in for the most part. Going to pitching labs in the offseason.
Two and two on Grisham. Single to left in the first inning, and then scored on Judge's home run. Third inning, Orioles lead 4-2. 2 outs here. Nobody on. Povich came in with a 5.04 ERA, but he gave up half of his 14 earned runs in one bad start against the Reds. So aside from that start, 2.91. Pitch is high. That's over 4 games.
Yeah, 7 of the 14 runs were given up in that one game.
$25 years old, from Bellevue, Nebraska. And that pitch is up and in as Grisham works a walk.
So often we talk about protection for hitters, like how do you protect Aaron Judge? Who can really protect Aaron Judge? The way you protect him is getting on in front of him, because it's really hard for a manager or a pitcher to say, I'm going to walk him intentionally and put runners on first and second. It's one thing if there's an open base at first, but it's really hard to do. I'm not so sure it's not a bad idea, though, at some points. In this situation, it's not a bad idea.
Good idea to have men on base when he does hit all those homers.
Yes.
Ouch.
Well, if you think about it, if Ohtani hit behind him, you'd make a manager think.
Yes.
If Soto hit behind him, you'd make a manager think. But there aren't many players that, I think they'd still rather pitch to those two guys than Judge. But you want him to think a little.
A little bit about it. So they had that WAR stat up there coming into today.
His WAR individually is higher than 12 teams' position players. 12. Orioles would be one of them.
Yeah, he has a 2.7 WAR. The Orioles, when you add up all position players, they have a 2.4. So he's 2.7, Orioles 2.4. And he has his WAR of 2.7 is higher than 6 entire teams.
They're not even sitting on the strike zone. Rutschman's off the plate saying, if you want to beat us, you're going to have to chase.
And he doesn't. Well, he couldn't even chase that with a telephone pole as Grisham moves to second on the wild pitch.
Had some good run to it, though, this sinker, didn't it?
And now they'll intentionally walk him the final ball.
It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier decision for a manager when the guy's on second.
That one hit the bull.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is they threw over twice, and I think they probably wanted Trent to go. So we could do that, put up 4.
But Coney always says, and I agree with him, okay, first base wasn't open, but there's a base open.
Oh, there's always a base open. It might be home. Ask Buck.
Yes. Buck Showalter walked Barry Bonds with the bases loaded. Almost got burned. The next guy hit a screaming line drive to right that was caught.
But it worked.
Oh-1 on Rice, who struck out in the first inning. They say he went around. Third base umpire Ryan Addison. So quickly in an 0-2 hole. I've seen worse.
Yes. That's one that's somewhat debatable. But got in front of home plate.
The 0-2. 1-2.
Well, if you go back to the scouting report, it was below average on balls up, below average on balls
Tight.
down, and below average on balls in or out.
Fortunately for Ben Rice, he's tight back there.
1-2. Popped up left center field. Henderson's out there, and he makes the play for the final out. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We'll go to the bottom of the third. For the win, NWSL takes you inside the high-stakes drama of the 2024 National Women's Soccer League playoffs and championship. Exclusive behind-the-scenes moments of soccer icon Alex Morgan, rising star Trinity Rodman. Watch now only on Prime. Laureano takes inside 1-0 as we start the bottom of the third. It's 4-2 O's. Rubber game in this 3-game set. Orioles have won just 1 series all year. They've played 9 of them. They've won 1. That was 2 out of 3 against Cleveland on April 15th, 16th, and 17th. They've lost 6, and they've split 2.
Breaking ball's backing up bad tonight.
Yeah. Kind of lazy wristing it. You know, he's a little late, not getting it out in front.
Swings with a change, 2-2. Carrasco coming off a good start against Toronto. 5 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. And a low pitch count, too. But he gave up 4, a couple of home runs in the second inning against the Orioles. Swing and a miss. Another change. 1 away. 4th strikeout.
Well, it's his best pitch, and you know, he throw it to righties too, as you can see. That's the best movement he has on any of his pitches. They try to get to that pitch more often.
Just getting in the count, being ahead where you can throw it, and where you've thrown some pitches that are
down for strikes because it looks like it's going to be a strike.
Ground ball, Goldschmidt. And Carrasco beats Holiday to the bag. Two-way.
If you're Carrasco, you know the Yankees are potent offensively. You know, you're disappointed in your start. You're giving up 4, but nice start here this inning. Keep them right there because you know there's a good chance the Yankees are going to score more runs.
Yeah, they're almost scoring 6 runs a game. Povich is not going to go forever, and eventually you're going to see some right-handers, so you're going to gain some advantages there with your left-handed hitters.
Mountcastle takes outside. Hit his second home run of the year, 2-run shot to left in the second inning. One and one. One, two.
It's amazing that you can get hit like Austin Wells just got, where you're, a lot of times when you stick your hand in your catcher's mitt, the palm, part of the palm on the outside sticks out, and you can get foul tips there, and man, does it hurt. You see this go right? It actually got him on the inside of his palm.
And the 1-2. Peraza steps, fires. Boy, Mountcastle can run. A 10-pitch inning for Carrasco. He retires the Orioles in order. Well, it's time for Pinstripe Pride, brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. Tonight's picture is of 6-month-old Haley, who came to a first Yankees game on Sunday at the stadium. So Haley's first time at the ballpark, saw a doubleheader. Nice. Use the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride. Post your picture to social media, reflect your love for the Yankees. We might spotlight you in a future game. Anthony Volpe leads off here in the 4th. Lined out sharply to Gunnar Henderson at short in the 1st.
That's a gamer. Doubleheader on your first game.
Oh, and 2 on Volpe. Now, we talked about how he's been working on that kick change. Well, he worked on it in the offseason, and he was so dedicated to it that he brought a net with him on his honeymoon. His wife slept in. He would get up early. He worked out in St. Mark's and St. Bart's.
Teapot? What's just a wall?
St. Bart's? Wee wee.
Two and 2. Fly ball right field. Kerstad. Between innings, Carrasco. A conversation with Matt Blake, the Yankee pitching coach.
Yeah, we're talking about grips. The difference between the slider and the changeup. You can tell exactly what we're saying. He's kind of getting around at lazy wrist. I referred to a lazy wrist. That sort of when you kind of wrap your breaking ball a little too soon, and it disallows you from getting it out in front.
And Wells hits one to right center. Mullins is there. I'm curious, David, did you want a pitching coach telling you specifics like that in the dugout between innings?
He seemed very receptive to it. He was the one that started doing his wrist motion, showing Matt Blake what he was doing wrong, and Matt sort of confirmed it, but
he didn't answer the question.
Well, me personally, no.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, no, I'll let you know if I need your help.
I've heard that line before.
I'll let you know.
Do you notice how I didn't let him get off? Yeah.
Because
I wanted the answer.
He yelled at you on the mound.
More than once.
I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing wrong.
0-2.
I tell you what, he would yell at me in the mound, and I would just turn around and walk to home plate, and I'd be laughing. He couldn't see me laughing, and I know it wasn't funny to him, but it was funny to me.
That's why we worked, because you never took it personal. Pitchers are flakes, no doubt about it. 162 games, we get to play in about 30 of them.
Bounced up there, 1-2 on Reyes. Dominguez on deck.
You know who understood that too was the great Mel Stoudemire. He knew the right time to go talk to you about things. Let him cool down. Let's just wait.
God, he was loved by his pitchers. I mean, he was so good at what he did.
He knew too, because he still related to when he was a pitcher. He was a great pitcher. Well, Mel Stoudemire, never got credit for how good of a pitcher he was. Played on some bad Yankee teams.
3-2. And as a rookie, pitched in 3 World Series games in 1964. And after that, the Yankees kind of hit the skids until 1976. And he hurt his shoulder at a time when they didn't know how to fix it. It would be fixable now. He might have been a Hall of Fame caliber pitcher.
Absolutely.
Dominguez takes inside, so Povich has lost his strike zone momentarily.
Interesting pitch selection to Reyes. 3-2 breaking ball. His curveball. Not a guy that hits a lot of home runs.
Hit sharply and grabbed there by Urias. He gets the force, and that'll do it. Dominguez has had 2 good swings against the left-hander Povich. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left. There, he's taking advice there. And a little smile, too. And there, Andy Pettit in class. And a kiss. Well, stream 5 exclusive Cup races only on Prime, kicking off with the legendary Coca-Cola 600 on May 25th. Then buckle up for Nashville, Michigan, Mexico City, and finally Pocono. 5 tracks, 5 weeks. NASCAR. It's on Prime.
Looked like he caught a spike and he hurt himself.
He did go down on that pitch, which was a strike.
I mean, he's mostly dirty from that play in the first inning where he had to slide into first base, but we saw that happen in a game earlier. We were watching a Miami pitcher in the Dodger game.
Yes. Another look.
Stepped on his own foot.
Looked like it. Maybe a little tweak of an ankle. Spiked himself. And a little tweak.
And I made the joke when the guy went down from Miami. I said, that's what gives pitchers a bad name about not being athletes.
See Tim Hill up.
And I think that the Yankees can be really aggressive with their bullpen. I mean, I was thinking that he just needed to get through this lineup 2 times, and you're hoping he could do it in 4 or 5 innings. But you have
the high leverage guys have not worked the last couple days, and there's plenty of them down there that you could put together 15, 16, 17 outs.
Line to right field, and Judge will play it on a hop. Kerstad with a single.
Yeah, breaks an 0 for 20 streak for him. He's been really struggling, and changeups have given him all kind of fits. And again, it's another pitch that's higher than he wants it. He has to live at the bottom of that zone, and he's not been able to do that consistently tonight.
It's one of Kenny Singleton, the great Kenny Singleton's best lines. Those pitches at the belt get belted.
Urias fouls it off. Meredith Marakovits actually had lunch with Kenny.
He is doing incredibly well. I asked him again if he'd like to come back and join us at the Yes Network, and he said no. He likes having no schedule. He misses us all, and he misses Yankees baseball. He still tunes in the majority of time and watches us on the Yes Network. But he and his son Dante will be featured on an upcoming Mayor on the Move, Baltimore style. We're cracking some crabs, guys. And Michael, he wanted me to tell you that he was gonna invite you, but he knew you wouldn't come because you don't eat crabs.
Would have liked the invite, though.
Maybe next time.
I was texting with him today, though. I do miss him. I think everybody who watches Yankee baseball misses him.
And check this out. Here we are. So
How were you at cracking him, Meredith?
could have been better. Needs improvement. How about that? Successful enough. It was a good time. Good to see. Always good to see Kenny. And he gave his take on Yankees baseball this year, as well as Jason Dominguez, what he thought of the young switch hitter. And that will be on the May 16th episode of BP All Access, Game 1 between the Yankees and the Mets at Yankee Stadium, Subway Series.
And it's so odd we're talking about Kenny, and the guy at the plate's wearing Kenny's number 29.
There you go. It all comes together, Michael.
I see how you did that.
I'll tell you one thing, Meredith, looking at that clip, Kenny doesn't age.
He's in great shape.
God bless him.
He's golfing most days. He's always going to the range, working out. One of the nicest guys around.
Two and two on Urias. He told me that he was going to come to this game, but he's having a watch party tonight to raise money for his charity. So he's watching the game with about 80 people at a restaurant.
And Michael, we did get a couple lookouts during that. For old time's sake, you know.
Runner was going, foul back. Now, Meredith, you actually like those?
They were okay, yeah.
Well, that's not a rave.
I mean, it's a little messy.
All right.
It's more of the experience, sharing time with friends, conversation over some food.
You have some Old Bay on it?
Very seasoned.
Yeah.
Very seasoned.
Troy, producing the truck, knows a lot about food, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
He's
foodie.
He is upset he didn't get the invite. But Luke Miller, fantastic producer on the shoot, Michael.
I was a little bit taken aback. I mean, the first I saw it, you put it on social media. That's the first I heard. I would have loved to have seen Kenny.
There's no way you would have stepped foot in that restaurant.
Of course there is. To see Kenny? You're just exclusionary. You always have been.
Stop it.
Swing and a miss. The throw to second. A little bit high, and Reyes could not come down with it.
Michael, I can't believe you would say that I would exclude you. Today I spent a lot of the day. Here you go.
Oh, there's a little kerfuffle there at second base.
Yeah, I think what happened was when Reyes jumped up to catch the ball, I think he might have caught Kerstad in the face with his shoe when he came down, and I don't know if he thought it was intentional.
Like, that's exactly what Kerstad said. He said, hey, how could you jump over my head like that?
Well, you got to catch the baseball. I mean, that's first and foremost.
I'm telling you, the run from the bullpen is one of those ridiculous things. No one's thrown a punch. No one said a curse word, but they all had a run from the 410-foot mark.
Would you have been the last one?
And when I saw people starting to throw, then I would have,
Yeah, start throwing. But your speed?
Oh, speed, I would have been last.
Yeah. And you got to come down that runway down from the top of the bullpen down is like bricks. It's not easy to run down.
And the first one down, would be Jeff Nelson.
No.
And Graham Lloyd.
Yeah. Graham Lloyd. Arms swinging, flying.
Well, where did he want him to land?
Yeah, I don't know what he's supposed to do. And then he falls down a little bit. And that could be frustration, Kjerstad. 0 for his last 20 before he got a hit.
See, you can almost exactly see what's going on. Pablo's saying, I got to catch the ball.
Yeah.
Kjerstad's like, how could you go like that on my head? Kjerstad's just reacting because he got hit in the head.
Well, the other thing is he can't really see what happens, because his head's turning and he comes down on his neck. And that probably hurts, and you get a little upset. And
exactly.
Yeah, his back was to him and he couldn't see.
Well, that's going to do it for Carrasco because why? The third time through the order's coming up, so they'll go to Hill against Mullins when we get back. Runner on second, one out. Well, Tim Hill is on. Runner at second base. Orioles lead 4-2. They've gotten back to the bullpens. And it'll be Hill against Mullins. Now, you might remember, Kjerstad got hit in the head last year, and that caused a bench clearing situation as well. So that's probably on his mind. But really, Reyes had no other option but to go up and get the ball, and he had to land.
And when a team's struggling and you're struggling, a lot of times there's just emotion, and the littlest thing can set you off. I mean,
You hit it right there perfectly. You got hit in the head, and the initial reaction was anger.
Yeah. And my guess is he's probably a really good kid, and it's just part of the game, the emotion in the game.
Fly ball left field. Dominguez makes the catch. This is what we were talking about last year. And this one, the manager of the O's was really fired up. Yankee dugout barking at him. And let the fun begin. There's definitely some anger there.
Yeah, anytime your teammate gets hit in the head and Clay Holmes is not doing it on purpose, there will be anger.
So Hill comes on, does the job, retires Mullins and Henderson. We're going to go to the fifth inning. We go to the fifth inning. Orioles 4, Yankees 2. All right, Joe, play along with me. If I was commissioner for a day.
All right.
So in basketball, if there's a brawl, anybody leaves the bench, they're thrown out.
Yes.
Anybody.
Right.
Would you put that in? Anybody leaves the bullpen, you're thrown out. The guys on the field want to fight, let them fight. If you leave the bullpen, you're thrown out.
I don't like it because I think it's important as a team that you protect each other. And I understand it leads a lot of times to more fighting.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to feel you're together as a team. And if you say, well, you guys can't be part of it, to me, that's a problem.
But they do that in the NBA.
That's okay. I don't like it.
Okay.
I want players to protect players. And I think it's important.
David, thoughts?
Lots of thoughts.
That one is hit to center field and deep. Mullins back. He'll make the play in front of the track to retire Peraza.
The problem is that a lot of these, you have 9 players on the field and only 1 player that could be a base runner in that situation. So you have 9-on-1 sometimes. So you need some help quickly. It's never 1-on-1 like hockey.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of
or basketball, 5-on-5.
Yeah, I mean, you might get your player you're legitimately worried for him. You might get a player in a bad way where there's 9 guys pounding on him.
But I'm saying you could leave the dugout. just not the bullpen.
It depends on where. Sometimes the bullpen, the guys might get there sooner.
Right.
Depending on where the fight happens. And the guys in the bullpen, you're gonna hold them off. You could square off out there. They could fight each other out in the bullpen.
True.
I'm not sure it would make that much difference. By the time the bullpen guys get in there, a lot of times, depending on where the melee is, it's just a lot of pushing and shoving. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's that consequential. It's like Joe said, it's more for backing up your teammate.
Although it was quite consequential in the Yankee Oriole brawl at the stadium.
Yes.
Graham Lloyd was landing some punches. Alan Mills was landing some punches.
Good point. Legendary one.
That was 1998. So 3-1 on Goldschmidt.
It'd be very hard to sit there and watch, especially if there was a real fight going on.
Remember, the Knicks lost the series to the Heat because Patrick Ewing took one step off the bench. That one's driven deep to left center field. Mullins on the run, turning, looking, see ya! A long home run for Goldschmidt, and the Yankees have closed to within one.
Well, Michael, you talked about the damage he's been doing off of left-handers this year. 615 coming in today with a 1600 OPS, and second home run off a left-hander this year, and this ball's hit a long ways into the bullpen of the Baltimore Orioles, and boy, he has swung the bat really well all year long. Second highest active OPS, active player OPS against left-handers. Judge is #1.
That's his first home run this month. The only other home run he hit was on March 29th, and that was the day everybody hit home runs. The 9 home runs against Milwaukee.
That was a blast.
425 feet.
And you got the torpedo discussion going.
That's right.
Yeah. This ball's torpedoed. I mean, this ball's hit a long ways. I mean, that's a deep gap. Tried to get him back, hit him in the bullpen.
Chasing him out of there.
And that's a beautiful swing. I mean, really level through.
No vibration off that bat. Well, you know that's sweet spot all the way.
It's not a good sound if you're a pitcher, is it, Coney?
No other sound in sports like that one.
It's so funny watching Goldschmidt do the handshakes. Like, he's 37 years old. He's probably not all into that, but he's part of the team, and he just goes through it, and then takes his, step into the dugout.
Yeah, the most unassuming superstar you'll probably ever be around.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot to remember. I mean, it's 25, a lot of times 25 different handshakes.
Just a little shovel there.
Yeah.
All right, let me go in.
You got them with your kids, Michael? I mean, your kid. A lot of times, kids will want to have them because they see their dads do it, and they'll say, "Can we have a handshake?"
I mean, Joe's just trying to get him going, but I think they do it with their friends, not with me.
No.
Yeah. I mean, we have our own little handshake, but it's not.
Yeah. Well, you have one then.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Not too complicated because I'm not too bright. That one's foul back. Christian's been on twice, a single and a walk. 4-3 Orioles. Swing and a miss, got him. Let's go back to that fight in '98. It was a real fight. Benitez drills Tino.
That was 100 in his back, and you see Graham Lloyd and Nelly. Straw got into that. Straw was in the dugout.
And then Alan Mills, who's a great boxer.
Well, Benitez, if you remember, almost challenged the whole bench after the hit by pitch. He was waving out the whole bench to come get him.
And they had to get Benitez out of town. They sent him back to Baltimore. We had a couple more games, and Tino wasn't right for about 2 or 3 weeks. That shoulder hurt so bad.
Cal Ripken Jr. is there as they take Povich out.
It all starts with the spark. Set it ablaze, make a mark with the heart. I shine bright, illuminate in the dark, dominate on the charts, hit the ball like a bar. It all starts with the spark. Set it ablaze, make a mark with the heart. I shine bright, illuminate.
Well, they bring in Sir Anthony Dominguez to try to cool down Aaron Judge, who hit that home run and was intentionally walked. And there's a base hit to right field. He is a hitting machine.
Is that considered a win if you keep him in the ballpark?
I guess so, right?
Yeah. Just another line drive.
Yes, it's a good pitch down and away. You kept him in the ballpark. He hit it off the end.
And he probably still hit it close to 95 miles an hour.
Now the righty has to face Ben Rice, 0 for 2 against Povich. 1-0. Hitting .422 after his 2 for 2. So he started .412. He's gained 10 points.
What did he hit, about 120 in spring training?
Yeah, he struggled in spring training.
Yeah.
He struggled last April as well. And still went on to hit 58 home runs. So he's reached base 2 or more times in 22 of his last 27 games. Well, it's time for the call to the bullpen, brought to you by Taco Bell, and that call to the bullpen brings in Sir Anthony Dominguez. Last appearance Saturday.
See the amount of walks, the 7 walks in 9 2/3. That's what can escape him. He's got a very good fastball. And the thing is, he's added a curveball and split and got rid of his slider and change. So, I mean, he's kind of retooled his arsenal. Get up to 98, 99 miles an hour, though.
Gets a strike call there. 2-2. Judge leads off first, having picked off. Throw was bobbled. The throw is in time. So Mountcastle bobbled the throw, but then he made the good throw to Henderson to get Judge for the final out. But Goldschmidt brings the Yankees closer, connects for his 2nd home run of the year. This one 425 feet. Wave him home, it's 4-3.
You know, so often we talk about what a great hitter Aaron Judge is, and he's a good defender. He's also a very smart base runner. He does get picked here. Yeah, that's not what you want. But watch, he's going to see where Gunnar Henderson is, and he's going to try to get in the line of the throw, knowing that he's 6'7", and you got to throw it over me. He actually almost was safe because it makes it a very difficult play on the first baseman when you're trying to throw over that man.
Adley Rushman will lead off the bottom of the 5th. He's 2 for 2. Those are against Carrasco. Now Hill in. And the pitch outside, 1-0.
Coney, I don't think I've ever seen, when you look at stats, a higher ground ball rate for a pitcher. Pitchers that have thrown 10 innings or more, it's 84%. I mean, that's ridiculous. And you know what he's throwing.
You do, but the release point, the window it comes out of, the life on his fastball.
And you don't usually say, like, there's a ton of life on 88, 89, 90, but there is. And it's late sink.
Yeah, it's a combination of everything. And, you know, you try to measure deception. You can't. You just know it when you see it. Believe me, there's a lot of analysts out there, really smart people trying to come up with a measurement. How do we measure deception? We don't know how. You just kind of know it when you see it, and that guy's got it.
3-2.
I like the high leg kick at the end, how it comes up, the finish.
And Rushman works a walk. Here is Ryan O'Hearn. He's 0 for 2. One and 0. Baltimore 4, New York 3. Rubber game of this 3-game set. Keegan Aiken heating up for the O's. See Laureano on deck. Taken all the way. It's 3-1. Grounded foul, grabbed there by Goldschmidt.
O'Hearn is a guy that takes the ball the other way extremely well, and the outfield is kind of shifted towards left field. Even the infield is really, I mean, second base is straight up. Shortstop's not that far over.
2 straight walks open up the 5th inning. First and second, nobody out.
Very uncharacteristic. That's one of his strengths, is just pounding the zone. But just missing so far. Just 2 walks the whole year coming into tonight, now has doubled that total here.
And the Yankees bullpen has been outstanding over the course of the year. If you would say one thing that you'd like to see the staff improve on, it's walks. So one thing that they do at a fairly high level, they're second in all of baseball. 115 walks coming into this series.
Booted by Volpe, and everybody is safe. That was a tailor-made double play, and he booted the ball, so an E6, bases loaded.
Yeah, you wonder if he picked his head up a little bit to see where Reyes was, whether he was going to take it himself or he was going to try to flip it to him. It just seemed to come up and hit him in the heel a little bit, and it gets away where they're not able to get one out. It's really unfortunate because I think they had a pretty good chance of turning that double play, even though Laureano runs fairly well.
Not sure if he got a little distracted by the umpire trying to get out of the way there, crossing over in front of him, but it's a play that we see Anthony make way more times than not.
Yeah, we saw that happen to Henderson yesterday. Yeah, you're seeing he's behind him, and you lose it just for a second. The base runner crossed in front of Henderson, and he dropped that line drive yesterday.
So here's the youngster, Jackson Holiday, 21 years old. He comes up with the bases loaded, nobody out. Yankees in at the corners. They're back at double play depth, short and second. And a strike. Warming up for the Yankees, Fernando Cruz. Mountcastle's on deck. Trying for the grand slam right there, 0-2.
Looks like I got both of them. Thought I got Lance. Worse than I got Austin. Take a look at this. Oh, He didn't get both of them.
Holiday had a grand slam on April 16th here at Camden Yards. Second big league season. Ground ball to second. There's one. Not enough time to get him at first. Scoring is Rushman. And the Orioles lead by 3.
Yeah, that's the frustrating thing. You do exactly what you want. You want to get a ground ball, but it's not hit hard enough to where you can turn 2. And it was really a good idea by Reyes, because if he throws the second, he's got no chance. But Holiday's just too fast.
Now Hyde comes out to talk with the second base ump, Brian Wills. Did he tag him, or did they say he ran out of the baseline?
He tagged him.
Yeah, his uniform did move. Now that's going to do it for Tim Hill. Runners on first and third. 1 man out, 1 run in. It's 5-3 Orioles. Cruz coming on to face Mountcastle. Well, come out to Yankee Stadium on Friday, May 2nd when the Yankees take on the Rays. It's Jazz Chisholm Jr. basketball jersey night. First 18,000 guests in attendance are going to receive a Jazz Chisholm basketball jersey courtesy of StubHub. Tickets going fast, so get yours today at Yankees.com. Fernando Cruz leads all American League relievers in strikeouts, 23 strikeouts in 15 innings. And sporting a 1.80 ERA. Key for him, getting ahead with his fastball, then putting you away with the splitter.
Well, I liked what you said when he was pitching against Toronto, the way you described it. You said, there's that pitch again. Hitters are 3 for 31 with 23 strikeouts on his split. And he's ahead, Michael.
0-1.
I don't know if I've ever heard a split called that pitch. Pretty good one.
Yankees back for the double play. O'Hearn is at third. Holiday's at first. A threat to go. There's that pitch.
That pitch. There's no rotation on that ball.
Yeah, he really, I mean, it's closer to a fork ball, really, than a split finger fastball.
Swing and a miss. It is almost unhittable when he throws it right.
Yeah, I think if hitters are 3 for 30 or 3 for 31 with 23 strikeouts, it's pretty unhittable.
That was almost knuckleball like there, dancing and darting. It's like a little butterfly effect.
Try to hit this.
So now 2 down. Kerstad jumps on the first pitch and lofts it to left center. Grisham will put it away. Good job by Cruz. But the Orioles score a run, and they lead 2. Now, as we go to the 6th inning, it's time to name that Yankee. 244 average, 167 home runs, 4 All-Star games. Play with the Yankees at 53 and 54. Then the Orioles for a long stretch. Tigers, Phillies, and Astros. Finished up with the Astros. Not an easy one. So Cruz cleans it up for Hill. Orioles do not get a hit in that 5th inning, but they do get the run.
It's picking up your brother right there. So thanks, stranding those guys. Those are my earned runs. Thank you.
Keegan Aiken is on. And Rice fouls it off. Rice was facing the righty Dominguez when Judge got caught off first base, so now he has to face the lefty. Ground ball, just foul.
And really solid out of the bullpen for the Orioles. Was a starter originally, but has really come to find a home. And through Monday night, went an inning in the third, struck out 3 hitters, no walks, no hits. A good mixture of stuff.
Now these two teams had a little dust up in the bottom of the 4th inning, and we're told that each team was issued a warning. So the umpires have the right to throw somebody out if somebody gets hit.
I actually think by doing that, they've stopped a lot of stuff. You know, and I think players sometimes get frustrated because they want to handle things on their own, but I think it's actually stopped a lot of stuff, and it's been pretty good for baseball.
Clearly a change.
Yes.
The directive coming from MLB to the umpires to get preemptive. Yeah, you're right. The old school was just let us handle it ourselves. We'll police ourselves out there. Let us do our business.
Joe, do you think, though, that sometimes they issue a warning in the wrong time where it wasn't on purpose? And
they're not going to be perfect, but again, I think they're trying to keep from something happening, because there are times that things aren't on purpose that lead to other things anyway.
Swing and a miss. Bryce down on strikes against Aiken.
And just an example, if you're leading by 1 run late in the game and you hit someone, you're not trying to hit them. I mean, you're leading by 1 run, but it happens. I mean, I've seen them issue warnings on breaking balls, hitting people, but they're just trying to be proactive and not let anything get out of hand.
Here's Volpe. Yankees down by 2, 5-3. 1-0.
It's a huge game for the Orioles. You can see Brandon Hyde, their manager, is going to manage this game like it's a must-win almost this early in the season.
Well, by only winning 1 series, and they were expected to be a playoff team. I think they had over a 40% chance when the season started. You know, for the Orioles, you just got to kind of look at the Braves. But the Braves have kind of clawed their way back almost to 500 and just start trying to win series. The problem is their starting pitching has really been in shambles this year. 4th worst record in all of baseball.
Yeah, their starting pitchers came into this game with a 6.09 ERA.
And I'm not sure that you have that veteran on the field, the presence of, like it says, you know, sometimes you have to make things stop, and you see players starting to hang their heads a little bit. And I'm not so sure they have that veteran guy that's fire. I don't know, because I'm not in their clubhouse, and I'm not saying that they do, but
a lot of pressure on Brandon Hyde. Right?
Yeah, and I think it's somewhat unfair because of all the injuries to their rotation.
(3-2). Just got a piece to stay alive. Well, they finished behind the Yankees in the American League East by 3 games last year. And they were expected to be right up there again, and they're struggling. And as Joe and David just said, it's really the pitching. The offense hasn't clicked all that much, but it's the pitching that's the real culprit. Line drive, it's a base hit past a diving Henderson. Volpe with a single.
And he lined out in the 1st inning, hit a bullet off a lefty, and here's another one. I mean, he's hit the ball extremely hard. And when you look at the year he's having himself a really, I mean, he's 3rd or 5th in the AL in extra base hits coming into tonight.
And he leads all American League shortstops with 19 runs batted in. There's Austin Wells, steps in as the tying run. 0-1. And we've seen that this is the blueprint for teams. They don't start many lefties against the Yankees because there aren't that many lefty starters. But they load up on lefties in the bullpen to counteract the Yankees in the later innings. Wells did not like that call. Reyes is on deck. Seems almost plaintive.
Well, he knows the strike zone better than anybody tonight. He knows how tight it's been.
One and two. And they hit lefty pitching, as you can see, but a lot of that's Judge and Goldschmidt.
I think that's where they really miss Stanton in these situations.
That one is looped into right center field. It's a base hit. Volpe round second. He's going to go to third. He'll make it. Throw comes into second. So Wells with a hit. Yankees playing the corners with one out.
Yeah, he's coming in tonight. He was 7 for his last 23, and he continues to hit. And he had the big hit off of Soto, the double, the other night. So he is doing okay against left-handers. He battles. I mean, that's what he does. He grinds out at bats.
Reyes 0 for 1 with a walk, playing second base because of the injury to Jazz Chisholm Jr. Orioles playing back for 2. And a strike to Pablo Reyes.
It was Pablo Reyes' bat that won him this job out of spring training. Very impressive swinging the bat.
A couple of years ago in Boston, he had a pretty good year as a utility guy that actually played every position except catcher. That's valuable.
One and two.
Yeah, you see what he's done in his career. And he has above a .950, fielding percentage everywhere but third base. So he's played second really well, short really well. He's been good in the outfield, has some assists. I mean, he's been a guy that's needs a number of gloves in that bag.
One, two.
Smart though. He stayed away from the catchers a bit. I mean, they obviously think they can beat him with fastballs inside. I mean, that's 4 in a row.
Strike 3. Catches him looking.
Just a well-executed slider.
It's the perfect pitch. Right. You're going to say this is in the bottom corner. I mean, there's not much you can do with that as a hitter. Maybe you hope to pull it foul. He probably thought it was going to continue on and go inside, but it's the perfect pitch. And sometimes you pitchers do that.
On the black, at the knees.
We don't like it, but you pitchers do it.
Pitching coach Drew French comes out with Dominguez due up. Dominguez is 0 for 2, but he's hit the ball hard twice, batting from the right side. Brian Baker is warming up for Baltimore. We're in the 6th inning. It is 5-3 Orioles. Lance Barksdale breaking up at the pitcher's mound. So batting right-handed, Dominguez is 3 for 34.
Yeah, this is a situation. If Dominguez was to get on, Brandon Hyde has to make the decision. Does he want Aiken to face Peraza, or does he want the right-hander Baker to face Cabrera? That's the decision he has to make.
1-0 on Dominguez. 1st and 3rd, 2 outs. 1-1. You know, one thing that Boone has said about Dominguez batting right-handed, he has a good eye right-handed. He takes pitches well, sees them well. Right now it's a work in progress, and you're playing games that you want to win too. Peraza on deck. Dominguez down to the count 1-2. Volpe at third, Wells at first. Two and two. Two balls, two strikes, two outs, two on. Yankees down by two. Another foul ball.
I don't want to jinx him, but the first pitch that he took was on the black, and everything else, I mean, he has had to protect, and he's fouled pitches off. He hasn't chased. Kind of like what Aaron was talking about.
2-2. Strike three. Got him on the outside corner. Two big strikeouts for Keegan Aiken. No runs, two hits. Two left for the Yanks. Well, let's check out the T-Mobile coverage cam.
Well, you're going to cover that? No, you're not going to hit it either. And if you do, it's usually weak contact. But what a good job by Fernando Cruz coming in, stranding runners, picking up Tim Hill, and showing some emotion.
Opponents are 3 for 39 with 22 strikeouts on that pitch.
I love your description of that.
Here is Urias, the number 9 batter in the Orioles order, bottom of the 6th, beginning.
I mean, we're going to have a T-shirt that has that pitch and his fingers holding the split. Cruz on the back.
We can almost call the pitch a cruise missile.
Does it tear up the torpedo bats?
Guess it does. No, it doesn't, because it doesn't touch them.
Oh, that's a good point.
One and two.
And that's one of the reasons he gets so many chases. When he throws it for a strike, now you're thinking, okay, they're all going to be strikes. It's such a hard pitch to square up.
You know, one of the reasons we keep track of spin rates is because the lower the spin, the more the ball moves. And that's the key, with Fernando Cruz's splitter or forkball. It's a really low spin, a big wide split. That's why it dances and moves so much. You know, his spin rate is in the 700 range.
If you had to guess,
really
what would your
low.
spin rate been on yours?
Oh, twice that.
You think?
Yes.
I thought yours moved a lot.
Moved a lot. I threw a little harder. I would have liked to have known.
3 and 2 on Urias. He has a home run today and 2 at bats.
You don't have that app on your phone that you can figure it out?
Can't go. Yeah, you can't retroactively go back and use the technology. But I would say the average major league split finger fastball is probably twice what his is in the 1500 range.
Strike three. Got him with the fastball.
At the knees too.
And away. I mean, it's down and away. This is a perfect pitch. Again, when you make perfect pitches, you're hard to hit. And so many times we talk about pitch selection. It's pitch execution that's the important thing. And a really good job of framing by Austin Wells there.
That's what makes it dance, when he could take the spin off the baseball, it really dances. Sometimes it looks like it's wiggling up there going to home plate, right? Like a little wiggle on it and then dropping.
And think about trying to square that up with a round bat.
That thing has a wiggle, Michael.
And the 0-2. Another weak hack. And another strikeout for Cruz.
How many Ks is that on that pitch again, Michael?
I think that, what is that, 23 now?
Nice block, too. I mean, you're always taught to try to center it in your chest protector and have it go straight down. It's exactly what Austin Wells does. Then it's easy to block and recover.
Got an underwater swing out of that one. Like swinging a bat in a swimming pool.
What a pickup to this point by the Yankees. They have an organization that's flush with catching, and they felt they could trade Jose Trevino to the Reds, and they saw something in Cruz. Obviously, the high strikeout rate. He had a high ERA as well, but they thought they could refine it. So far, they have become quite a weapon.
Looked like it was almost like he was trying to use a hockey stick to hit it.
Yunier Cano heating up. And the pitch. Mama, there goes that pitch again. He strikes out the side. Orioles 3 up and 3 down. A hat tip to Mark Jackson. What a weapon Fernando Cruz has been. We go to the 7th. The Yankees are down by 2. Well, the Yankees return to Prime next Wednesday to take on the Padres. Don't miss a minute of the Yankees beginning at 6:30 only on Prime. So we go to the 7th inning, and Peraza takes a strike.
So far in this series, Keegan Aiken has recorded 7 outs. 6 of them by the strikeout. 2 1/3 innings.
2-1. Two on Peraza. Cano is ready. With Goldschmidt coming up next, this could be it for Aiken. There is a lefty following Goldschmidt. 3-2. Aiken's 30 years old.
I would think that this would be his last batter. I mean, it's came in earlier in the 5th.
And a walk for Peraza.
Good.
That brings up Goldschmidt as a tying run.
Good job, good at bat for Peraza.
Now Brennan Hyde will take the ball from Keegan Aiken. And he's going to bring in Yunier Cano. Goldschmidt going to get a scouting report. That's it for Aiken. Yankees down by 2. Time to name that Yankee. Those are the clues. Those are the numbers, the teams in which he played. And the answer is Gus Triandos. Caught Hoyt Wilhelm, stopped Yogi Berra's streak of making the All-Star as a catcher.
He's also in The Wire, a little Wire reference there on the left. Or he certainly was referenced in The Wire.
And we're not going to explain that, right, David?
No.
Thank you.
Wow. No.
Well, this was a really good month for me. I got 2 out of 3, so I'm pretty happy.
You got
2 out of 3.
Triandos?
No, I didn't get that one. I got the first 2.
Okay. Goldschmidt chops one to third. Bobbled. The throw. Got him. Urias has such a good arm, and he bobbled twice and still was able to get him as Peraza moves to second.
And part of it is he attacked this ball so well. He came in so hard, and it comes up a little bit and hits him on the heel. Really good hands and really a great presence of mind to slow down a little bit and make sure I grip it before I throw it, because the last thing I want to do
is throw this ball away, because then the Yankees are going to have at least second and third with nobody out, but makes a good, strong throw.
Here's Trent Grisham. Skied out to deep left center field. Who's going to get it? Sliding and making the catch is Laureano. Tagging and going to third is Peraza. He'll make it. Laureano with a nice play in left center.
He gets a really good jump on this ball, and he slides to slow up his momentum, and he actually gets up and makes a pretty good throw to third base. I mean, he's got a really strong arm. He makes this catch, slides, pops up. I thought he had a gap. I thought he had at least a double when this ball was hitting that gap. But again, Laureano's been a center fielder for most of his career, and Peraza goes back and tags, and it means something. If he throws the ball in the dirt and it gets by the catcher, you get a run. You don't necessarily need a hit.
Judge takes inside 1-0. Aaron has reached base 3 times, a home run, a single, and he was intentionally walked. 2-0.
Looks like the start of an unintentional walk here. Intentional, unintentional, intentional.
Ground ball left side and through for a base hit. Peraza scores. Judge with another hit, an RBI single. And the Yankees have pulled to within 1.
Well, the struggles for Cano against the Yankees continue. He's been so good against everyone else in baseball. They're not even trying to throw a strike here. And this ball runs back a little bit over the plate, too much of the plate. I mean, Rutschman's not sitting on the plate. He doesn't want to strike.
No, he didn't want that at all.
Sometimes when you have so much movement, it's hard to control that.
Judge was ready for it.
Yeah.
To his credit.
3 ribbies for Judge. He has 32 on the season. Brandon Hyde's going to go and call on a left-hander with Rice coming up. It's 5-4, 7th inning. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Yankees on Prime. Well, fans, the Gotham Sports app is your new home for streaming live Yankees games all season long. Plus, tomorrow night, you can stream the Knicks playoff Game 6. Access to the Gotham Sports app is free with an eligible TV plan, or visit gothamsports.tv to subscribe with a special limited-time offer ending today. So the Knicks could have closed their series against the Pistons last night at the Garden. Would have been their first series-clinching win at the Garden since 1999. They didn't do it. Now they have to go to Detroit for Game 6, looking to close it there. Remember, on the Gotham Sports app, all next year, you're going to see so many Knick games there as well, including the Yankees and the Rangers, the whole deal, so that's the place to be.
Aren't you supposed to win at home? Only 1 game in this series has been won at home.
Absolutely. And speaking of the NBA's on Prime next year, so tie it all together, baby. Gregory Soto against Ben Rice. And the pitch is high, 1-0.
You say so.
The Yankees touched him up the other night for a couple runs. Hits by Goldschmidt, Volpe, and Wells. A couple doubles in there.
Couldn't hold up, goes around 1-1. Rice is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts tonight. Volpe is on deck. Soto gave up 2 runs on Monday as the Yankees almost came back. They lost 4-3. And that one's thrown away as they easily tossed to first to get Judge close. So now Judge, the tying run, is in scoring position.
Coney?
How's that make you feel in the dugout if you're the manager right now?
Putting the throwovers. I mean, he doesn't have great command. I mean, that's the one thing he doesn't have. He's got a great arm.
A gift.
Can they capitalize on it?
Drillman deep to right field. Kerstead back. He's on the track. He's going to make the play in front of the wall. Rice gave it a run, but Kerstead went back to the warning track in front of the wall for the 3rd out.
check it out.
Pizza Hut's rip.
Well, now time for the 7th-inning recap brought to you by Inspire. 5-8-1 for the Orioles, 4-7-1 for the Yankees. Carrasco lasted 1 out into the 4th, gave up 2 home runs. Aaron Judge is being Aaron Judge, 3 for 3, a home run, 3 ribbies. Cade Povich, 2 outs into the 5th, and Ryan Mountcastle with a 2-run home run.
Yeah, we all thought he got this when he hit it, but you can see it's just off the end of the bat. If he's a tick back, a tick later than he was, that's a long home run, but he was just a tick out front, and he knows he missed it. He's like, man, I had it, read it, had a good swing on it, just got it off the end of the bat a little bit.
I thought it was on Utah Street.
Devin Williams comes on for the Yankees. Will face Adley Rutschman, and a hot shot backhanded by Peraza. Beautiful play. The throw, and another scoop by Goldschmidt. Scoop, there it is for the first out.
Oh, this is an outstanding play by Cabrera. I mean, this ball is smoked, and it's a short one hopper. And it had that spin. Peraza, outstanding play. Gets up. He's got a really good arm, and he makes a good throw. And Goldie does what he does. Pick it.
The kid can play some defense.
Yes, he can.
And the pitch to O'Hearn is inside. Coming off a strong outing on Monday where he retired the Orioles in order when the Yankees are trailing by 1. That's his first outing after being relieved of his closer duties for now as they try to straighten him out. Change up for a strike, 2-1. Fastball upstairs, 3-1.
A little upshoot on that one. Kind of got underneath it.
Yes.
Kind of pushed it.
There's Mike Slocum. I don't know who he is, but he's there in the bullpen.
I wondered how you knew who his name was.
Brian Baker warming up in front of Mike Slocum. And there's ball 4.
And Austin got one called earlier in his at bat, and he's wondering, well, where's that pitch? That pitch was called on me. Just catches the bottom of that line. It's a borderline pitch. He does a really good job of framing it again. He brings it up. Doesn't get the call. Yeah.
No high pitches and very few low ones. I mean, it's tight, the zone.
Pitch outside to Laureano.
And the importance of him getting ahead. That's what he was able to do Monday night. And he gave up a hard hit ball on the first pitch he threw tonight. And it almost like it looked like he got a little bit careful. He has to be aggressive so he can get to that great changeup he's got.
1-1. There's that changeup.
His changeup is sort of the opposite of Fernando Cruz's. His is a high spin changeup, almost like a screwball.
One and two.
Two very effective off-speed pitches, just done differently. Different styles.
Job by Austin Wells, kind of killing that ball and hit off his chest protector. Didn't get far enough to where Ryan O'Hearn could advance. You're going to see him get in front of this off the chest protector. Block and recover. Something that you work on a lot in spring training. It's not just the blocking, it's the recovering. You got to see where the ball goes.
Two. 3-2. Runner goes, swing and a miss. The throw to second. Got him. Strike him out, throw him out, double play. A good pick by Reyes and a good tag to get O'Hearn. Now we have to wait to see if the Orioles are going to challenge. And it looks like they will.
Outstanding scoop.
Baltimore challenging the out call at second base.
I mean, it's hard to tell there because you can't see where the tag hits his chest when his foot hits the bag. Here we get a little better look here.
I don't think you can overturn that.
I don't think so either. I think it's so close. And I think it's a good challenge by the Orioles because it's getting late. He almost looks like he's out there. He gets him in his chest before his foot hits the bag.
And I think they got him.
Yeah.
After review, the call on the field is confirmed. The runner is out. Baltimore will lose their challenge.
All right, it is time for the 7th inning stretch. No, it's time for the 8th inning coming up in a moment. Well, here's a look at the Yankees' upcoming schedule brought to you by Dietz and Watson. Tomorrow's an off day, then a 6-game homestand begins. 3 games against Tampa Bay, 3 games against the really strong Padre team. Another off day as the Yankees head west to Sacramento to meet the Athletics. Little crescent moon as we go to the top of the 8th inning, and Brian Baker will take over. Good numbers. Pitched yesterday, 13 strikeouts in 11 innings. Volpe leads off. 1-0.
Battle of the bullpens tonight. Both teams have days off so they can use everybody.
2-0 on Anthony. Mark Leiter warming up for the Yanks. (3-0) on Volpe. There's a strike, 3-1. (3-2) on the Yankee shortstop. It's Volpe, Wells, and Pablo Reyes against Baker. And he works a walk to start off the 8th. So the Yankees have the tying run on.
Got to feel like Cody Bellinger's got a bat down there somewhere.
Yeah, he's going to hit probably somewhere in this inning, especially if someone's on. Now, Austin Wells took Baker deep last night to left center field, but you could hit for Reyes, you could hit for Peraza.
That one is looped into right field, backing up as Holiday makes the play. Sounded like a broken bat. And Cody Bellinger will pinch hit for Reyes. That's who they have left on the bench. Oswaldo Cabrera, Jazz Chisholm Jr. probably not available, and J.C. Escara.
Yeah, big night for Bellinger last night. A home run in the first inning here on a fastball that was up. He hit this ball a long way, and he's been swinging the bat better the last week or so. So got a chance to get a big hit tonight and be a hero.
Here's Bellinger pinch hitting for Reyes. Reyes was 0 for 2 with a walk.
Bellinger 7 for his last 26 at bats, including a homer and some extra base hits.
4 RBIs, some runs scored.
Volpe is dancing off first. Orioles are quite aware of him there. One 1-0 on the pinch hitter. Now 1-1.
He got a little bit bigger lead there. I thought he was actually going to go. He's trying to time up Baker. And he's so good at doing this. He gets way out there, and he just didn't quite trust it to where he thought he could go.
Bellinger calls time. And the pitch. Spoils it, fouls it away. Certainly has a different swing with 2 strikes. Just tries to put the bat on the ball.
And I think he tries to use the middle of the field and the other way a lot more as well.
Swing and a miss, swings through it. 97-mile-an-hour fastball, 2 away.
Well, he tried to get him up before on the pitch, and he took it. And then this one's a little bit closer, and he swings through it. I mean, it's hard when it's 97, especially when you're cutting down and you're protecting against everything. It's just a tough pitch to try to hit.
Now here's Dominguez from the left side against Baker.
Michael, he's hit 2 bullets against left-hander side. This right hand, he deserves something good to happen here because he's had good at bats tonight. Doesn't really have anything to show for it so far.
Volpe was about a foot off the bag when they threw over.
Trying to time that jump is what Baker's doing when they jump out there.
Two 2-0.
I would imagine that Cabrera is getting loose too to hit for Peraza.
He's ready. Little respect right there. 2-0 changeup.
Yeah.
To Dominguez.
Well, let's do the math on that, Joe. If they hit for Peraza, who's playing the infield? Because you've already lost Reyes.
Yeah, it's a good question, but you know, I've been known to put Vernon Wells at third base before.
3-1.
When you're trying to win a game, you can do some things. You can move Goldie to third, and I know it's been a long time, and put Belly at first. I mean,
3-1. 3-2. So 3-2, 2 outs. Volpe will go. Swing and a miss. He pulled the string. And Dominguez way out in front. No runs, no hits, no errors. And 1 man left on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Orioles up 5-4. Let's take a look at the Spectrum exit of velocity.
Well, this home run that Mountcastle hit in the second inning to put them up 3-2, and they've been ahead ever since, was 106.9 miles per hour. And if it was last year, it would probably been just a double because of the wall being moved in.
We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. New Yankee pitcher is Mark Leiter Jr. Oswaldo Cabrera is on. He's playing third. Peraza moves from third to second, replacing Reyes. And the pitch to Jackson Holliday is a strike. Holliday's RBI ground out. That's a difference in the game right now. That drove in the 5th run. Did that in the 5th inning. So it's 5-4 Baltimore. If you want to look ahead to the 9th inning for the Yankees, it'll be 9-1-2. Peraza, Goldschmidt, and Grisham. If anybody gets on, Judge will get a hack. Bautista closed him out on Monday. He'll probably pitch again. There he is warming. They have not yet used him. He came back from Tommy John surgery and further surgeries on the elbow, and they have not used him in successive days. They didn't need him yesterday because the Yankees blew him out. So he will come in the 9th tonight. Two and two. Yankees have Escara on the bench and likely Chisholm, who can't be used.
And the importance to hold it to right here. Mark Leiter's throwing the ball extremely well for the Yankees. Almost a 38% strikeout rate when he's been in there. And he's got that really good split too.
Strike 3. Holliday down looking.
Tell you what, you don't see a lot of 95s from him.
Yes.
This ball had some movement too.
See Holliday completely frozen by it. Probably guarding against that splitter.
Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of 93s, 94s, but 95, that's really good.
11th Oriole will go down on strikes. Here's Mountcastle. There's a strike. Hit sharply and grabbed there by Volpe in the air for out number 2.
If we've learned anything about Mountcastle, he likes those backup breaking balls. Hit the home run in that second inning.
So here's Kjerstad. 1 for 3 with a stolen base. And a strike. Bottom of the 8th inning, 5-4 Baltimore. Up the middle and through for a base hit. Judge fields in right center, flips it in, so a 2-out single for Kjerstad.
It's just a breaking ball that's up, and it looked like it was a curveball that kind of didn't have the break that it usually does, didn't have the depth that it usually does. Kjerstad's able to stay on it.
So Dylan Carlson comes on as the pinch runner. He'll take over in the outfield for Kjerstad. And here's Ramon Urias.
Ooh, nice pick right there. And when you're on one knee and it's that far out, you can't really slide over that far, so you have to use your hands. Really good job by Austin Wells.
Has it surprised you to see that every catcher now, every organization now has catchers on one knee?
No, because I think the numbers tell you that it's effective is what it does, and that's why they're doing it.
Even on blocking?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're a better blocker on 2 feet, but I think the value that it gives to framing, and maybe even to the catcher's offense a little bit.
That's going to be a tough play. Base hit.
Where they don't get wore down so bad, I think it makes sense. And the thing is you can't push off. And most of the pitchers, and this is just a number, the Yankees had a couple of those yesterday, you just can't push off very far to your right or left. But big league pitchers are usually not that far off. So you're in a pretty good position to block most of them.
You're already down there.
Yes. But you're not going to have the range that someone has on 2 feet. That's the only thing you're not going to have.
Matt Blake comes out to talk with Leiter as they will deal now with Mullins. This chiropractic telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees.
So I wonder, though, if we go to an automated strike zone where getting that low pitch is not as important because it's going to be automated, will they go back to 2 feet so they have more range blocking? And I think for the most part, you're probably a little bit better thrower.
First and second, 2 outs. Outside to Mullins. Strike 1-1. Mullins single to right in the first, fly ball to right in the second, fly ball to left in the fourth, and struck out in the sixth. He has 6 home runs and 20 ribbies. One and two.
That's his good one right there. 86-mile-an-hour splitter.
Yeah, and the batting average against splits, when you look at last year, Leiter's was actually better than Cruz's.
Missed outside. Tried to pick him off very close.
Love that. Try to steal an out right there. Good try.
Yeah, and you're probably not expecting it from Mark Leiter. It always made me nervous when the shortstops were almost directly behind the bag, because it's just such an easy play for them, and they can catch it on the run because the ball's coming straight at them, opposed if you're trying to catch it on the run and you're running sideways.
The 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left. Did the Yankees have a rally in their bones? They'll try it against Felix Bautista next. Well, we go to the 9th inning. Rubber game of this 3-game set. The Orioles lead 5-4, and they'll go to Felix Bautista. It is their 6th pitcher out of the bullpen. They have 8 pitchers in their bullpen. So Bowman not used, Perez not used. And they hope there's no extra innings because they want to close it out with Bautista. Only the second time in this young season that he's pitching for 2 games out of 3. So he pitched on Monday and pitching here on Wednesday. Try to close it out.
Coney, I got a question for you real quick. His fastball's averaging 97.1. 2 years ago, before he got hurt, it was 99.5. His split is exactly the same speed. So how does that work? Wouldn't you expect it to be slower too?
A little bit, you would think.
They do not pinch hit for Peraza against the righty. And he pops it up. See if it stays in play. A long run, and the catch is made by Carlson. Takes over and left. Laureano moves to right. So here's Goldschmidt. 425-foot home run in the 5th inning, his 2nd home run of the year. Missed with the slider. You need one to get on to give Judge a swing. Grisham on deck, Judge in the hole. And he clips the outside corner with the splitter. Count 1-2. The righty deals. 2-2 on Goldschmidt.
90-mile-an-hour split.
You need more extension on your fastball. Probably doesn't quite have it back yet.
May not trust it. I mean, he's walked a few more people this year.
High fly ball, right field. Laureano on the run, and he runs out of room.
I mean, that's the one you want to hit, that split that's up in the zone where you can possibly get out front a little bit. And we see the home run in the 5th inning on this fastball, and he gets out in front of that, hits it in the bullpen, sends the Cionel Perez running a little bit out there.
The 2-2. Chop, shortstop. Henderson sets and fires. Yankees down to their final out. And that leaves it up to Trent Grisham. 1 for 3, a walk, scored a run. On deck is Judge. And a 99-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike. And the Yankees down to their final strike.
That's just a dandy. That's just a strike the whole way until the end.
That's the thing, too, about those split fingers. They're kind of unpredictable. Some of them just go straight down, and that one had tail and going straight down. And you don't always know which one you're going to get.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss. And the Orioles beat the Yankees 5-4. And the Yankees end the game with Aaron Judge on deck. Orioles struggling as the Yankees came in for this 3-game set, but they take 2 out of 3 from the American League East rivals.
99 miles an hour off of that nasty splitter. That's a tough at bat.
Yeah, probably the two hardest fastballs he threw so far this year have been to Trent Grisham at 99. So he's getting it back.
A huge win for the Orioles.
It's time now for the players of the game presented by Snickers.
Well, the first one's Ryan Mountcastle, who had a backup breaking ball for a 2-run home run that made the score 2-2. And then Ramon Arias, 2 batters later, made it 3-2 with that home run to left center. 2 players that have been struggling lately got it done for them tonight.
5-10-1 for the O's, 4-7-1 for the Yankees. It took 2 hours and 54 minutes. Baker the win, Bautista his 5th save. Carrasco evens up at 2-2. Another big night for Judge. Special thanks to producer Troy Benjamin, director Dan Barr, Mike Webb, and our executive producer is Jared Ames Boschnack. Don't forget to join us again next Wednesday as the Yankees host the Padres at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Coverage will begin at 6:30 on Prime, with first pitch coming just after 7. Now, for more coverage of tonight's game, tune into the YES Network for the W.B. Mason postgame show. Again, the final score, the Baltimore Orioles 5 and the New York Yankees 4. For David Cohn, Joe Girardi, and Meredith Moragovitz, I'm Michael Kay saying see ya from Oriole Park at Camden Yards here in Baltimore, Maryland. Have a good night, everybody. So long.
Everybody, great to have you with us here on the W.B. Mason postgame. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry with you. Final game of this 3-game series, and the Orioles hang on to win it 5-4. The Yankees punch first with some offense. Couldn't get Carlos Carrasco going, and they end up losing it by a run. Let's get your Hyundai opening comment.
Aaron Judge delivered that punch in the first inning with a 2-run homer against the Orioles. What else is new? So the Yankees are feeling good about themselves, but a messy second inning from Carlos Carrasco, Bob. And whenever we've talked about him this season, we've said he doesn't have enough velocity on that fastball to get away with mislocation. And in that second inning, the Orioles scored 4 runs off him, taking him deep twice. And the Yankees tried to fight back all night. They fall a run short, and they have Judge waiting in the on-deck circle when this game ends with Bautista striking out Grisham.
Well, let's take a look at the flow of this game by our Game 3 highlights brought to you by your local Ford stores. And, Jack, let's start with that first inning at-bat for Aaron Judge against the lefty Cade Povich.
Yes, the second pitch of the at-bat, and Judge has been aggressive this season, and why not be aggressive against that sweeper that he drills to straightaway center field. Mullins can give up hope. He's not getting that. It's the 10th of the season for Judge. Yankees go up 2-0.
But then to that bottom of the second where things would turn in the Orioles' favor after a leadoff single by Jackson Holliday. Ryan Mountcastle up. Gets a hanging slider from Carrasco, and that is gone for a 2-run shot. And just like that, the Orioles pull even at 2, but there was more trouble to come for Carrasco.
Yeah, Urias, the number 9 hitter, is going to step to the plate. Look at the count. You got to have count leverage. It's 2-0. He bends a 4-seam fastball in there, and Urias turns it into a souvenir. It's the second home run of the inning, and the Orioles go ahead 3-2.
And then the lineup flips back over to the top. Adley Rutschman now up with Henderson on second. He rips one into right field. Henderson is going to come around to score, and that's that 4 spot that they put up on Carrasco. It's 4-2. And then bottom of the 4th here, things get a little testy on the throw down to second.
Yeah, Kjerstad is trying to steal a base. Pablo Reyes is trying to catch the ball. Kjerstad is basically saying, why did you hit me on that? And the easy answer is, I'm trying to catch the baseball. I'm trying to do my job on the field as well. Nobody wants to be hit in the head. Nobody wants to be collided with. But there was no malice intended from Reyes in that situation. I think Kjerstad, a little bit of frustration, barked at Reyes, and the Yankees barked back.
Yeah, the bullpen's emptied, and then nothing happened. Next half inning, Povich still in, facing Paul Goldschmidt with 1 out, and he gets a hold of this 3-1 pitch.
We talked about how much he crushes left-handed pitching. That continued today. He takes the sinker out deep to left center. His second of the year, a 425-foot bomb. It's a 4-3 game.
Became 5-3 in the top of the 7th. Then Yennier Cano in the game facing Judge. Base hit left field. They get back within 1.
Judge continues to produce. That was his 3rd run batted in of the night. He was on base 4 times in this game. and he boosted his average to 427.
And finally, you mentioned the final out with Judge waiting on deck. An 0-2 pitch to Trent Grisham, and Felix Bautista strikes him out. So that would do it as the Orioles hang on to win it 5-4. Carrasco giving up 4 runs of the 5 runs that the Orioles scored. They had 10 hits on the night. But again, Yankees losing 2 of 3 to the Orioles, an American League East rival. And this Orioles team came into the series at 10-17. Yankees could have won every one of these games. They lost the 2 games by a run each.
Yeah, it's only the second series victory that the Orioles have had all season, and the first one, Bob, was their first series of the year. So if you're the Yankees, you had some missed opportunities in this series because they are a better team than the Orioles right now. The Orioles are struggling from the pitching side of things. Their starting pitcher's ERA coming into this game was over 6, and I thought David Cohn and Joe Girardi made solid points during the broadcast. Hyde, the Orioles manager, was managing this game as if it was a game they absolutely, definitely had to win, and their bullpen did a good job of backing up Povich and getting those final outs.
Yeah, the Pens in games 1 and 3 for the Orioles just barely held the fort to make it just 1-run wins. All right, let's take a look at Aaron Judge tonight, getting the job done once again. And, Jack, we go back to that first inning at bat, and it was a big one, as he said, at 426 feet to center field to start his night off.
You asked about that breaking pitch on the pregame and said, how will Povich have success with that? Not throwing it like that, right in a spot where Judge could do damage. His 10th of the season made it 2-zip.
At top of the 5th, Sir Anthony Dominguez tries to sneak one over the outside corner, but what does Judge do? Takes it the opposite way, takes what he gives him, base hit, and then 7th inning, one more, this time through the left side.
Yeah, going to ground this sinker into left field. Peraza comes in to score. The Yankees pull within 1. But we see what Judge has done now, Bob, and just pretty much assume that he is leading the major leagues in any offensive category that matters.
That's the way you end the first month of the season, Jack. The numbers are remarkable, especially the 427 average and the 521 on-base percentage.
Yeah, to be able to say that you are getting on base more than half the time over a 1-month period is just astounding, and it speaks to the hitter that Judge is. But we talked about this on the pregame, Bob. It also speaks to his selectivity and his smart approach at the plate. He's not chasing. He's not going out and trying to hit pitches that pitchers want him to chase. He's waiting for them to throw strikes to him. It has been an unbelievable month. He is pushing already towards back-to-back MVPs. And as you and I said earlier, it's just a joy for Yankee fans to watch. If you wanted to know what it was like to watch Babe Ruth in the 1920s and the 1930s, lock it in 2025 because you're watching a modern-day Babe Ruth.
Again, as the calendar turns to May, a 427 batting average for Judge. Now let's talk about Carlos Carrasco tonight. And on the pregame, we talked about how everything so far has been kind of a roller coaster ride for him, especially lately, Jack. If you go back, first 2 outings were a little rough, but then against KC, 1 run allowed. Against Tampa Bay, his next outing, 4 runs allowed. Then against Toronto, his last time out, 5 shutout innings, but tonight, again, the 4 runs allowed.
I feel as if Carrasco had 1 pitch he could rely on tonight, and that was his changeup. And he held the Orioles to 1 hit and 6 at-bats on the changeup. His fastball and his sinker, I don't think they were exactly where he needed them to be. Even his slider, the backup slider that Mountcastle hit for a home run, he missed location dramatically on that pitch. Wells wanted that pitch to be down and outside, and once he backed it up, as David Cohn said, you know coming right out of your hand when you've missed it. Mountcastle was all over that. That was a crushing 2-run homer. So Carrasco can't go to the mound in the major leagues these days and not have his full arsenal and not be able to have his command in his location, because nights like this are going to happen. He's going to get hit. He faced 18 batters. He gave up 8 hits. That's not a recipe for a win.
We got to take our first break here on the WB Mason postgame. A lot more coming up. When we come back, we will hear from the manager, Aaron Boone, about his guys falling short 5-4 in the series finale.
The Yankees postgame show on Yes is presented by WB Mason. Get fast free delivery of food service products you need at prices you'll love. Request your free catalog today at WBMason.com. Yankees postgame post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Hyundai dealers. There's never been a better time to test drive that Hyundai you've always wanted. Visit HyundaiUSA.com today.
The Yes app has moved to the Gotham Sports app, your new home for streaming live Yankees, Nets, and more. Free with an eligible TV provider subscription. Download the Gotham Sports app now and sign in with your existing Yes app username and password, or visit GothamSports.com to get streaming. Good to have you back once again on the WB Mason postgame. Yanks come up just short at Camden Yards. They lose it 5-4. Carlos Carrasco allowing 4 of the 5 runs over 3 1/3. Let's hear from manager Aaron Boone now in the manager's report, brought to you by Toyota.
Aaron, Carlos just not as sharp as he was in starts past. What were you seeing from him on the mound?
Yeah, probably just a handful in the heart of the plate that, they did some damage with. So, hung in there though, gave us a chance to kind of battle back. I thought we were going to hang around and get to the finish line. Just couldn't quite get there.
2 of your starters in this series just did not go deep into games. How much does that need to change moving forward to kind of lighten the load on the bullpen?
I mean, we just need to be effective. Today we were set up, with the off day tomorrow to roll out there pretty well and effectively. So, sometimes you got to be creative and find ways. We couldn't quite get there tonight.
What's your understanding of what happened there in that 4th inning with Kirkstead and the dugouts and bullpens clearing?
Just a high throw, and Pablo jumped and bumped him. So I don't think anything more than that.
I'm surprised that led to that.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, really not that big a deal. I mean, I think probably a misunderstanding. So, not a big deal.
You guys are 6-0 when Freed starts and have a losing record when everybody else starts. Is that concerning?
We're going to be really good. So, not surprising we're that good when our ace starts. It's pitching as well as he is, and so we got a really good club, and we got to keep getting better, and confident we will.
Do you think Bryce had gotten that ball off Soto?
I wasn't sure. I knew he got off the end a little bit, but he's going to the short part of the park there. With his power, I thought maybe it had a chance. But, I saw Kirkstead kind of circling on it pretty, like he had a beat on it. So initially maybe hoping, but then kind of realized probably didn't quite have enough.
You saw from Devin again?
Yeah, I did. A lot of conviction, aggressive. And yeah, another positive outing for him. Keep building those and stacking those, and bullpen did a pretty good job of keeping us in the game, giving us a chance to win.
How much has your confidence increased in Cruz as this season has gone on?
Yeah, he's been great. He's really, he's been phenomenal. He's doing just a really good job of getting ahead in the count, and obviously when he does that, I mean, you see it again tonight, more good hitters just taking swings like they've never seen that before, and so he's pitching with a lot of confidence.
Judge finishes the month hitting .427, 10 home runs. What do you think it's like to be him at the plate?
I guess kind of like a great three-point shooter. They shoot around 43% sometimes for an extended period. So he's like a great three-point shooter at the plate right now. Just it's remarkable. Obviously, I mean, I always say we're running out of superlatives or things to say about it, but what he's doing is just he's playing a different game.
He's just a year off from facing Felix Bautista. Did the closer you saw out there tonight look like the one from 2023?
Yeah, he looked pretty good. Was in the strike zone. The big fastball, the big sinker, split. So. Yeah, he looked pretty tough.
So Judge is the Steph Curry of the Yankees?
Sure.
Well, lost in what happened in that 4-run second inning and what happened with Carlos Carrasco, they're allowing those 4 runs, was what happened later when Tim Hill gave up a couple walks and there was an error. And it's one of those little things that probably doesn't show up in the box score, but it made a difference in the game.
Right. Part of coming back is making sure the other team doesn't score. We always think you got to rally with your offense to come back and defeat a team, but that play in the 5th inning ended up looming large because the Yankees had cut their deficit to 1 run, and this ball up the middle with Laureano running. I'm not entirely certain it's a double play, but there's a chance that they would turn a double play. And Volpe, who already has a Gold Glove and who plays the game with such athleticism and speed, I think looked up, Bob, to see what kind of way he was going to get the ball to Reyes. Was he going to shovel it to him? Was he going to underhand it to him? And then what happens after that is Jackson Holliday gets the run in on a ground out. So only the second error of the year for Volpe, but it gave the Orioles an extra run of breathing room, and that run ended up being the run that decided the game.
Now, the Yankees may have lost 2 or 3 to the Orioles, but if you take a look at their team ranks overall through the first month, Jack, they're first in the American League in basically everything. 2 more home runs tonight from Judge and Goldschmidt, give them 53 home runs, a team average of 267. Pitcher strikeouts after 12 more Orioles batters were whiffed tonight, 283, an opponent average of 204 against. So you're doing everything that you want to do. You're just on the margins, as Aaron Boone always says, little things happening tonight that go against you.
You look at those offensive numbers, though, Bob, and that part of what the Yankees have done this season, they have to be thrilled about that, because when Juan Soto signed with the Mets in the offseason after the Yankees had offered him $750 million, a very competitive and very similar offer, the question was, where's the offense going to come from? Well, the Yankees are showing right now that the offense is coming from a lot of different sources. Obviously, Judge is on a mountaintop all by himself, but we've talked about Grisham, we've talked about Rice, we've seen Volpe and Wells showing sparks recently. And actually heading into tonight's game, if you look at OPS plus, and 100 would be an average score, the Yankees had 9 players whose OPS plus was over 100. So they're getting offense from a variety of different sources. And at 18 and 13, if you were to prorate that for an entire season, you win 94 games. Guess how many of the 2024 Yankees won?
I don't know. Tell me.
94 games. And that was good enough to eventually get to the World Series.
I was teeing you up for that. I wanted to add a little intrigue. We got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to hear from the captain, Aaron Judge. He went deep again tonight, 10th home run of the season. We'll hear from Aaron Judge right after this.
Yankees postgame show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Kia dealers. Visit Kia.com to discover movement that inspires.
Here's Aaron Judge. See ya! Oh, what a shot! In his personal playpen.
Wow, was that a loud sound? Absolutely incredible what he's doing.
Never a doubt that was going out.
The numbers that Aaron Judge has put up against the O's since 2017 are remarkable. 104 games, he's batting .331 against Orioles pitching with 47 homers, 101 RBI, and an OPS of 1216. Let's catch up with Judge post-game with the media and Meredith about the outcome of this one.
Aaron, this team through the first month plus now of this season, how do you assess where you guys are at?
Yeah, just getting things going. I think the most important thing is, just trying to stay in first place. That's what it's all about, especially at our division. We got a tough division, so, you don't like losing, dropping series against a division rival here, but, keeping hold of first place, that's what it's all about.
Understanding the end result tonight, certainly not what you want, but you have been pretty hot at the plate all April long, finishing with a .427 average. Is that number even a little absurd to you?
I try not to look at it. I got a job to do every time I step up to the plate, no matter if I'm hitting 170 or hitting, 300. It's just, you try to block out the past and, focus on the situation at hand. If there's guys on base, get them in. Nobody on base, try to get a rally going. So, I try not to look at that stuff until the season's over.
I heard Lovey say you feel good at the plate when you're hitting 1,000, but how does .427 feel?
Like I said, you just got to go up there with confidence no matter what. I felt the same even when I was hitting, 170 last year, and you guys were asking me all the questions about when you're going to turn it around. So it's just, I can't focus on results. You got to focus on the process and trying to get a job done. And, if you do that for 500 at-bats, good things are going to happen. So that's all I got.
You guys have had the best offensive league in this first month. A lot was made over how you guys change the team when you lose Soto. Maybe people thought there was going to be more of a pitching team. What's your thought on how the changes you made and how much the offense has been able to pick up the slack from losing a great player?
It's been incredible. I've been talking about it all spring. I think really the growth in our young guys is going to be the key to this team, and the key to us getting back to the World Series is, seeing improvements out of Volpe every single day. Jason Dominguez, continue to take strides. I know Jazz is hurt right now, but seeing, Jazz get going for us, down the stretch. But, anytime you add Paul Goldschmidt into the mix, former MVP, Cody Bellinger, the same thing. Good things are going to happen, and then especially just seeing the start that Trent Grisham has had. I know he didn't get a lot of playing time last year, but now getting an opportunity to kind of play every day and kind of do his thing. It's been fun to watch. So, just excited for those guys. We just got to keep it rolling. April's done. Now we got to move on to May and get this thing going back at home.
Now look for time that benches have cleared between these two teams. Have you seen this rivalry just kind of grow the last couple of years?
Yeah, it was a weird bench clearing. The guy's jumping up to make a play. I don't know what he's mad about. So, but I don't know about a rivalry. We got a job to do. We're just out trying to play ball, so I got nothing.
Aaron, you talked over the years how much you like being up in big situations. It's tough to be, on deck there in the ninth, not having one last chance.
Yeah, but I like my chances when you got Paul Goldschmidt and Trent Grisham, who've been swinging the bat so well this year in front of me. All I was thinking was, hey, one of those guys is going to get on, and we're going to make some magic happen. But we weren't able to come through, but I want those guys in front of me in a big spot every single time, try to set the table. So it's they got us this time, but we just got to bounce back and we'll get them back. He's a great pitcher. I think they really missed him last year. Having a guy like that at the back end, it's tough when you got a guy that big throwing 100 miles an hour, and he's just not kind of just throwing that splitter. Like, he spots it up well, down the zone, down into righties. So it's a tough at bat, but you want to go up against the best. So I think they're really excited to have him back and to see him healthy, and we'll see him down the road. Oh my gosh, sorry about that. But same with Cruzy. He's been impressive seeing him come over here. You could have stopped me earlier, man. Come on. It's impressive seeing Cruz. He came over here. He always wanted to be a Yankee, big Yankee fan. So it's just his demeanor on the mound, his presence. He's attacking every single hitter, and I think when you attack guys like that, I think that's where you start to get some of those, swings we saw there when he came in, to where they're almost kind of in between, almost guessing, trying to, is it the heater, is it the splitter? But, when you have fastball command like he does and good feel for that splitter, that, the action is just insane. So he's going to be a big piece for us now and down the road.
This spring, did you have any idea how good that split was for him and what he could potentially mean to the bullpen?
I didn't know that coming in. I saw him from afar, and I knew he was a great pitcher. He was a guy that you want up in a big spot when you're on defense pitching for you. So not to see it up close, but to see the work ethic, behind the scenes, see how, when he comes in the dugout, he's pumping us up, even if we're down, if we're up. He always wants us to keep the pedal to the metal. So he's a huge guy on the mound, but also in this clubhouse.
Well, take a look at this. StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. Judge now has an 11-game hit streak, and Jack, these are all of his hits, 22 over that span, again, using every part of the field.
It's just a reminder when you see Judge hitting the baseball to every part of the field, continuing to pile up these numbers, that the Yankees would say to him, we'll take you just the way you are, because Aaron Judge is on another MVP assault. But just focusing in on tonight, Bob, he saw 10 pitches. He only saw 4 strikes. He took 1 of those for a called strike. The other 3 times the Orioles put the baseball in the strike zone, he had a home run and he had 2 other hits. And it just tells you that Judge is on another planet. He's on another stratosphere right now. And one more set of numbers for you. The Yankees as a team are hitting .267 on this season. They played 31 games. That's more than 1,000 at-bats. If you took Judge's numbers away from that batting average, they'd be hitting .250. So he's worth an extra 17 points in their batting average. And obviously the slugging and all that, I didn't have time to figure all that out. But it just shows you that Judge has made this offense what it is with some help from his friends.
Do you want some time? We'll wait.
I'd rather go back to the next segment, perhaps.
All right. Tomorrow night, watch Yankees minor league baseball on Yes as the High A Hudson Valley Renegades take on the Jersey Shore Blue Claws. Coverage starts tomorrow at 6 on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Jack is working that calculator right now. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more on the W.B. Mason post game as we talk about the Orioles winning 5-4 and what's ahead for the Yankees come Friday night in the Bronx.
Making his major league debut, Anthony Volpe.
Will Warren's about to make his major league debut. Austin Wells with a single in his first at bat. There's the first major league hit from Ben Rice. A home run for Dominguez in his first big league at bat. A monster home run. First big league at bat.
New episode coming up Thursday night on Yes at the Gotham Sports app. Meantime, we get back to tonight's game. It's a 5-4 Orioles win. And amongst the thing that happened in tonight's game came in the fourth inning. Heston Kjerstad of the Orioles stealing second base. Pablo Reyes had to go over the top of him just to try and retrieve the throw from Austin Wells. That led to what, as a person on the set to my left would say, a kerfuffle. And the bench is cleared. Let's hear from Pablo Reyes about what happened in our Genesis sounds of the game.
Pablo, are you surprised that escalated like that in the fourth?
¿Te sorprendió que se subió un poco la intensidad cuando tú estás tratando de hacer esa jugada?
Sí, más por esa jugada, ¿me entiendes? Son cosas de juego, cosas que uno no tiene control y solamente trata de atrapar la pelota.
Yeah, definitely. You know, especially in a play like that, you know, you're just trying to make a play there. It happens in the game when you're competing sometimes, you know, it's out of your control sometimes, the intensity that can come up, and yeah, just trying to make a play there.
What did Kjerstad say to you?
¿Te mencionó algo en específico él?
Sí, me dijo alguna palabra que entendí que me faltó el respeto, pero son cosas que quizá él después, más adelante me dijo a mí que fue mala de él y cosas así, pero sí.
I mean, a couple words there that probably, you know, felt like disrespected me in the heat of the moment there, but, you know, later on, then it kind of toned down from there and kind of moved on from it.
Was there anything you could do to get out of the way?
¿Había algo que tú podías hacer aparte de para tal vez no chocar con él en esa jugada?
No, en un tiro así no, pues yo solamente estoy tratando de... No tengo control en un tiro alto, yo solamente traté de parar la pelota y no tengo control sobre eso, yo solamente traté de mantener la pelota en el infield.
No, not at all. I mean, when you look at the play, you know, it's a high throw, and, you know, obviously it's out of my control. I'm just trying to make a play there and keep it in the infield, you know. It's really not much I can do besides just making a play.
Was he accusing you of doing it on purpose? Did you tell him it was an accident?
¿Te acusó? ¿Sentiste como que te acusó que tal vez lo hiciste a propósito?
Ese sí,
entendió que era un accidente.
Al principio se sintió así, ¿me entiende? Como que fue de algo de maldad. Quizá él no vio la jugada o el tiro antes de, pero ¿me entiende? Eso fue lo que más me puso medio cosa, porque quizá él no vio el tiro, pero sí, quizá.
Yeah, maybe at the beginning he thought I did it on purpose, you know, but obviously he couldn't see the throw or how the play really developed and the effort that I had to put into to make a play there, probably.
Did you say anything back to him?
¿Mencionaste algo en específico a él después de eso?
No, yo acostumbro a no hablar mucho y sé de pocas palabras, pero lo que se vio es nada, que trata de mantener la cosa bajo control, pero sí en el momento un poco...
I mean, I usually try not to say a lot of words, you know, keep my cool in a way, and just a little bit of intensity there, and they kind of wanted to keep things in control, so.
Both Reyes and Aaron Boone saying basically that whole play was much ado about nothing. I think if Kjerstad looks back, he's going to see two things. Reyes could have tried to jump over him, which he did, or just plowed right into him, because that would have been the only route to the ball.
Right, and if you watch that play, and let's look at each player's responsibility, Bob, what Kjerstad is trying to do is steal a base and slide into the base and get there as quickly as he possibly can. What Reyes is trying to do is retrieve the throw, the high throw from his catcher. So in doing that, as he rises above the ground, the only way he could have avoided falling on Kjerstad is if he was able to levitate, and that was not going to happen at this point in time. So I think it's an extreme overreaction by Kjerstad. One more look at it. You see Reyes is going up to get the baseball. He's trying to make an athletic play there. He ends up falling on top of Kjerstad. As I said earlier in the show, there's no malice. There was no intent on Reyes' part. I think it's been a frustrating season for Kjerstad and the Orioles. I think some of that frustration came out right there. He had a couple hits. The Orioles won the game. That's what the Orioles should be focused on. But in that play, Reyes did absolutely nothing wrong. It was Kjerstad's jawing that got everybody to come out on the field.
Hey, don't forget, tonight after the postgame, stay tuned to Yes for the latest edition of Yankees Magazine and get an inside look at what hitters do while on deck, plus a special spotlight on Trent Grisham. That is tonight immediately after we wrap up here on the postgame, and stream anytime on the Gotham Sports app. Jack and I will take another break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about Carlos Carrasco and his outing, and we'll hear from him about what went sideways in that second inning. So stick around.
The Yankees postgame show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Learn more at genesis.com.
Let's go get to our turning point of the game, brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Came in the bottom of the fifth. It's an airtight game, 4-3, the Orioles lead. But Tim Hill walks two, and then this costly error.
Hill always gets ground balls. He gets one from Laureano, and Volpe, who has one Gold Glove on his resume, rushed that one, probably an attempt to try and get a double play. And then later in the inning, this ground ball from Jackson Holliday with the bases loaded. The Yankees only get one out. Holliday gets an RBI to extend the lead to 2 runs, and that was pivotal in this one-run game.
Yeah, it was 5-4. The Orioles win it. O's win 2 of 3 in the series. Yankees obviously outscore them because they had 15 runs in last night's game, but they out-hit them, and pitching on both sides was a little uneven. Certainly it was tonight for the Yankees in that start by Carlos Carrasco, who lasted just 1 out into the 4th. He gave up the 4 runs in the 2nd. Let's hear from Carrasco.
Carlos, why do you think you weren't quite as sharp this time out?
To be honest with you, my slider, it back up a lot. And that's what I got hit, and that's the first 2 run, the homer. I'm supposed to throw that on the way, just came back right in the middle. You just got it right there.
You don't have that pitch. Just what is that feeling on the mound when that's backing up like that?
It feels weird because that's one of my main pitches. So I went to my changeup, just getting out with that. But my slider is really poor to this game, but I couldn't find it. So I was behind trying to get in, hit on the count with my slider like I always do, but I couldn't look at it.
I saw you talking to Matt Blake in between innings at one point in time. Were you kind of trying to troubleshoot mechanically what you could do to get that pitch back?
Yeah, he told me I was rushing a little bit. He was right. I was rushing a little bit. That's why my slider came back.
What do you make of your first month of the season? Some good outings.
Excuse me?
What do you make out of your first month of the season? You've had some good outings, some not so good outings, some that were kind of sabotaged by one bad inning. What do you?
Yeah, man, it's been a lot the first month. You know, good outing, bad outing, good inning, bad innings. But I just take him from there. This game is so tough sometimes, and we just have to figure it out. And that's where everyone is here to kind of talk to me, teach me how to go from there, and that's what we do.
Carlos, what happened in the 4th inning when you threw the pitch and kind of collapsed on the mound?
I just got to another spot. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah.
What's it been like watching what Aaron Judge is doing this month?
This guy's unbelievable, man. You guys know what he can do in this game, and he's been great, man.
Let's look at the pitch breakdown for Carlos Carrasco with 66 pitches, 40 for strikes. But, Jack, that top says it all. Slider, which, as you told us on the pregame, his last outing was so good. Tonight, he just didn't have it.
Yeah, he had a lot of bite on the slider against the Blue Jays. They were 0 for 7 against that pitch. But a lot of honesty from Carlos Carrasco in that interview. He talked about not having one of his most important pitches, a pitch that he wants to go to get swing and miss. It's a get-me-out-of-trouble pitch. Tonight, it was a get-him-into-trouble pitch. The one against Mountcastle, mislocation by a lot. It backed up on him. You heard David Cohn and Joe Girardi talking about that. That made it a 3-2 game. But then even in the rest of that inning, there was some messiness, Bob, because he was falling behind in the count and getting himself in tough spots where he had to come in with a fastball. And again, he needs to get ahead in the count to be able to do what he does best with that slider, with that changeup, tricking hitters. And tonight he was unable to do that.
Well, the Yankees will head back to the Bronx now and begin a 6-game homestand on Friday. Let's take a look at their upcoming opponents in tonight's sights and sounds.
And now Vinny hits it deep into right center field. 2-0 Royals in the first inning. Noah Cameron. And his first pitch as a big leaguer is bunted in the air and out number 1. And at least at AAA this year, Cameron was better against righties and lefties. And that's another strikeout. Caminero is out. And that's 6 hitless innings for Noah Cameron in his big league debut. But there's a line drive, and that's fair. So there's the first hit. Curtis Mead ends up getting their first hit with 1 out in the 7th. And he hits a pop-up, shallow left field. Waters is there, and the Royals shut out the Rays.
Diaz will lead things off, and he hammers one to left. Ramos is going to have to look different. It lifts the top of the wall, and gone. Down the right field line past Wade. Diaz is going to score. Ariz is going for 3, and he's going to make it. Got him, and that's the ball game.
Well, there's 2 of the opponents coming up. It'll be Tampa Bay coming in for the weekend to the Bronx, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Both all games on Yes. The afternoon games are Saturday and Sunday. Then the Padres come to town after that. 2 games on Yes, the Wednesday game on Prime before an off-day Thursday, and then they travel west for their first West Coast trip. It will start in Sacramento against the A's. Jack and I will take one more break, and when we come back, we look ahead to Friday night's tilt in the Bronx. It'll be Max Fried on the mound, and we'll talk about that coming up. That's the man you'll see on the mound Friday night's opener between the Yanks and Rays. The series probables brought your way courtesy of Nissan. Ryan Pepio against Max Fried on Friday. Zach Littell against Clark Schmidt on Saturday afternoon. And then Taj Bradley against Will Warren on Sunday afternoon. For Fried, Jack, he's 5-0. They've won all 6 of his starts. He'll have to be a stopper once again.
And the last time he faced the Rays, he took a no-hitter through 7 innings until a scoring change, busted it back down to 5 1/3 innings. But the point is, he was dominant against the Rays, and now he gets an opportunity against them. While he was dominant in that start, Bob, I also look at his last start where he had a rocky first 2 innings, and then all of a sudden he locked it in, retired 13 of his next 15. He is a master out there in the mound. He has the ability to throw so many different pitches and so many different counts. He's got a lot of confidence in himself, and the Yankees are thrilled that they gave him an 8-year deal.
Yeah, we'll find out what happens on Friday night when Fried takes the hill, and we'll be with you right here on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Pre-game coverage beginning with the batting practice show at 6, pre-game at 6:30, first pitch a little after 7 o'clock. Enjoy the off-day Thursday. We look forward to seeing you again Friday. Take care.